Hokage Starting from the Instant Full Level, Chapter 41-60. Chapter 41, Tacky Ninja Village. Boom. The place where the three stood was instantly pierced. The soil flew down, and the two arms connected by the black meridians were directly caught empty. Long Yu brought Mao Yuxian 7 or 8 meters away, and Moonlight Blaze obviously did not have this kind of personal service treatment. He smashed directly outside the inn, and when he saw the strange hands emerging from the soil, his expression turned pale. If Long Yu hadn't shot in time just now, he might have already fallen into this big hand. Sure enough, you are a guy covered in copper smell. Long Yu looked into the forest. The two hands sticking out of the soil suddenly tightened, and they opened the soil directly, showing them in the eyes of everyone. A figure shrouded in a cloak, whose appearance could not be seen clearly, walked slowly out of the forest. However, just after walking out of the forest, behind him, there were black blood vessels with claws and claws, each with a corpse hanging on it. These are the wandering ninjas who escaped just now. Long Yu, who is this person? Isn't it too scary? Mao Yuxian's face turned pale. If the wandering ninja who appeared just now is an ordinary enemy, then the person in front of him is a pervert. Moreover, the 17 or 18 wandering ninjas who escaped were instantly killed. This kind of record is not something that ordinary ninjas can achieve. Have you heard of Tacky Ninja Village? Long Yu looked at the enemy in front of him thoughtfully. He never imagined that it was not long before he came to Hokage's world. Then he met Kakato, a member of Akatsuki's organization in the future. Tacky Ninja Village. Azuki Shion was stunned for a moment, and said, I heard that there was a rebellion in Tacky Ninja Village 20 or 30 years ago. The originally powerful Tacky Ninja Village was slaughtered overnight, and finally declined, hiding. Recuperate after the waterfall. Quote. Is that the Tacky Ninja Village that has the allocation of tailed beasts? Moonlight Gale was also taken aback. A livid expression, he couldn't help but say, Long Yu, you won't tell me that he is the traitor who slaughtered the high-level executives, right? Yes. Long Yu nodded with a smile, and said, I didn't expect to meet you so soon, Jiaodu. As soon as these words fell, Mao Yuxian and Yugong Jiefeng turned pale. S-level rebellion that almost wiped out the village. In terms of strength, it is comparable to the shadow level. All along, no matter how hard the 5 great ninja villages work hard. For S-level rebellion, it has always been difficult to capture. However, now there is one in front of them. This is not a nightmare, or what? Long Yu, are we going to escape? Yugong hurried. It's only a few miles away from Konoha. As long as we hold our strength, we should be able to rush back to the sealed gate soon. At that time, the people stationed will support us. Facing the origin of Jiaodu, the fighting spirit of Moonlight Blast disappeared instantly. Haifeng, shut up for me. Mao Yuxian gave a cold scolding. Looking at Long Yu who was still smiling, she said solemnly, don't grow the ambition of others and destroy Long Yu's prestige. Look at Long Yu's expression, he doesn't even have the slightest bit of fear. It's hard to say that he can deal with this S-level rebellion. It's just, why is this S-rank betrayal targeting us? Unlike Moonlight Blast, Mao Yuxian, as a little girl, has a more detailed mind. Since Long Yu called the man in front of him, he was a bounty hunter covered in copper stench. The wandering ninja family just now also put their bounty on their lips. Does this mean that they are being offered a bounty? Long Yu, are we being targeted? Yu Yuxian said anxiously. Long Yu smiled and patted her shoulder. It seems that you are not stupid. We have been offered a reward, and the person who started it is really big, and it takes at least 20 to 30 million taels to get the corners to shoot. What? The expressions of Azuki Shion and Yugong Gale suddenly changed. When they become ninjas, it is about 100 taels a month. After a year, there are 2,000 or 3,000 taels, which is already very good. Now, according to Long Yu's guess, a reward of 20 to 30 million taels can be offered. The person who issued the assassination order is definitely not an ordinary person. Long Yu, You mean, in Konoha village, someone wants to kill us? Mao Yuxian couldn't help but probe. In the past few days, nothing happened to Mao Yuxian and Long Yu. However, in the face of Long Yu's doting, no matter what the relationship was, Wu Yuxian couldn't help but care. It was killing me, you were just implicated. Long Yu smiled lightly. If you are afraid, you can go first, he will not chase you, your lives are worthless. Looking at Long Yu, who was still thinking about joking at such a time, Mao Yuxian glared at him and said stubbornly, Long Yu, I won't leave, I believe you will be able to defeat him. Gale, are you right? Moonlight Blaze just had the intention of retreating in his heart, and before he had time to react, he heard these words. Facing the staring eyes of Azuki Shion, she nodded bitterly. Boy, are you finished? After Jiaodu absorbed the chakra of these wandering ninjas, he suddenly raised his head. Not only did those black blood vessels not close up, but instead, they were frightening. Jiaodu, you are still full of copper stench, why don't we take a gamble? If you win, I will give you the head on my neck. If I win, you will become my subordinate. Long Yu said with a smile. This bet is very cost-effective. You can kill me if you win, but you don't have to die when I win, and you can still be my subordinate, don't you feel honored? The low voice made Mao Yuxian and Yugong Gale stunned. Is this the rhythm of recruiting an S-rank betrayal? Once it got out, it would be too shocking. Boy, you can really say with your mouth, I haven't met such an interesting kid like you for a long time. Jiaodu untied his cloak, revealing his body as if it was connected, with black blood vessels exposed. Even more disgusting. Especially when spit out from the mouth, the blood vessels like a straw, like the tongue of a poisonous snake, add a few points of inexplicable depression. Looking at Long Yu, who always looked the same, Jiaodu smiled grimly and said, I didn't expect that, you little bastard, seeing me like this, still looks the same as before. I agreed to the bet you made just now. I very much hope that you will be my bounty, and I hope you can support me with 4 or 5 more moves, otherwise I will be bored. The rise of Long Yu was only a short period of 7 or 8 days. Even the people in Konoha Ninja Village don't know everything, let alone a wandering ninja like Kotu. What's more, in the eyes of Jiaodu, a mere Konoha Chunin, what kind of big waves can he turn over? Don't worry, I will make you hurt and happy. Long Yu suddenly laughed. Chapter 42, S-Level Rebellion. Jiaodu's expression sank, looking at the pressure on him, like Long Yu, who didn't care at all, completely wiped out the last trace of patience, and shouted coldly. Boy, I hope you can wait a while and still laugh. Lei Dun Dark Thunder. From Jiaodu's back, a Lei Dun mask flew out immediately, opening his mouth. One after another thunder light splashed, like a frenzy, smashing towards Long Yu head-on. You step back, the battle is over. Long Yu said with a light smile. The expressions of Mao Yuxian and Yugong Gale changed drastically, and they hurriedly retreated before they had time to think about it. They have seen Long Yu's methods with their own eyes. Dare to say such a thing now, it is definitely not a boast. However, when I think about the one in front of me, it is an S-rank betrayal. They have confidence in Long Yu's strength, but whether they can solve the battle so quickly is probably another matter. While speaking, the short distance of tens of meters was only a blink of an eye under the attack of the Dark Thunder. After Mao Yuxian and Yugong Gale stood on their toes, the incoming attack had already landed on Long Yu with a bang. Boom! The thunder light exploded, like a thunderbolt across the sky. Everything in the inn was smashed by the violent thunder arc in response to the sound, stirring up a large piece of sand and dust. You bastard, dare to underestimate me, I will make you die faster today. Jiaodu snorted coldly. The fire escape mask on the back appeared instantly. Fire escape head hard. A sea of fiery flames gushed out of his mouth. After absorbing the chakras of more than a dozen wandering ninjas just now, the range of the sea of fire obviously reached 20 to 30 meters. It directly enveloped the entire station. However, it was not long before the corners reacted. The rising sea of fire suddenly turned like a vortex. The next moment, the flames that filled the sky were blown away. Buzz. A sharp, piercing air chirping sounded suddenly. Looking at Long Yu, who walked out slowly in the remaining sea of fire. And in that hand, the shuriken like a small comet, spinning rapidly. Kakuto's face changed drastically. What kind of wind escape ninjutsu is this, and it can actually change the shape and attributes to such a degree? Never get hit, or I'm afraid I'll die. Chaotic thoughts flashed in Zhao Du's mind. But looking at Long Yu, a trace of greed flashed in his eyes. In these chakras, he felt a strange purity, if he could take his heart for himself. Is it possible to use this to learn this powerful ninjutsu? The idea of greed has just emerged. The next moment, Zhao Du's pupils shrank suddenly. The ground on which Long Yu was standing burst apart, sinking like a spider web. Zhao Du just felt a flower in front of him, and a thunderlight had already hit the sky. When I saw it clearly again, the attack was close at hand. Your ball delivery has arrived, please sign for it. Long Yu smiled playfully. The wind escape spiral pill shuriken in his hand smashed directly into Koto's chest. Hum. There was a stagnation in the sharp air vibration. The next moment, a powerful hurricane force erupted. At the moment when the piercing sound of the sonic boom reverberated, the air wave that swept away was soaring into the sky. Everything within a radius of 100 meters, whether it was a rock or a tree, was smashed into pieces in an instant. At this moment, Zhao felt that he was all over his body, as if he had been cut by countless sharp blades. If it weren't for the earth escape heart to strengthen his body's defense, ordinary attacks would not be able to penetrate. I'm afraid he is dead now. Now he only needs to give up one heart, survive this wave of attacks, and then wait for an opportunity to sneak attack under suspended animation. In this kind of surprise, behead this weird kid. However, just as this thought came into my mind, the next moment I came into sight, it made Zhao Du almost vomit blood. Looking at the ball of lightning raging in Long Yu's hand, his scalp became numb. A wind escape spiral pill has made him doubt his life. There is also a thunderbolt spiral pill shuriken. Then his earth escape body may not be able to resist at all. What's more, now that he was under attack, he couldn't move at all, and he was completely reduced to a target. In the face of his own suspended animation, Long Yu still had to whip the corpse, this cautious and unexpected powerful method. Let Zhao Du doubt for the first time that he is covered in copper stench, is it wrong? No, don't kill me, don't you forget our bet. I can surrender to your command. Zhao Du hurriedly woke up in suspended animation. Long Yu smiled playfully and said, now it's up to me. Try Leiden balls. When the voice fell, Long Yu didn't pause at all, and turned the arc with his backhand, and the thunderbolt spiral Maru shuriken threw out like a thunderball. Do not. The corners let out a strange cry. Lei Dun spiral Maru shuriken collided with Feng Dun. The thunderlight was like a frenzy, directly submerging the horns. The arcs of thunder that were crazily compressed ran through Zhao Du's body like countless needles. Under the change of the earth-controlling attributes of thunder, the defense of Zhao Du is completely useless. Boom. The sound of thunder and explosion lasted for more than half a minute before being annihilated between heaven and earth. Looking at the devastated ruins, laying a body full of holes, like a rag. Moonlight Blast and Mao Yuxian were stunned. Is this still the frightening S-level betrayal? Or is it the one who slaughtered all the high-level executives of Taki Ninja Village? As soon as he appeared on the stage, he played two ninjutsu, and was directly solved by Long Yu and two balls. This is too shocking. Boy, you don't keep your promise. In the ruins, Zhao Du raised his head with difficulty. The four masks behind him have collapsed, proving that he survived the two balls just now and directly ruined his 4 lives. Moreover, even the last mask had a crack. If the attack just now, continue for another 7 or 8 seconds. I'm afraid, Kakuto has already come to an end in the ninja world. What's the matter, are you still not giving up? Long Yu smiled warmly. Zhao Du's expression was stagnant, and then he roared angrily. Boy, you die for me. The soil under Long Yu's feet was instantly opened, and thousands of blood vessels were formed from both arms. Like countless shots, he stabbed straight towards Long Yu. The attack is close at hand, and it is still overwhelming, giving people a feeling that there is no way to hide. However, in the face of all this, Long Yu didn't seem to care about it at all, and the smile on his face became even more prosperous. A blood-colored illusory body instantly enveloped the body. Thousands of blood vessels, like rain hitting plantains. It was directly shot by Susano. Chapter 43, The Scorpion of Red Sand. Looking at this sudden appearance, it was like a godlike figure. The corners were frozen. By the way, I still have water balls, soil balls, and fire balls. I haven't rubbed them yet. Do you need to try them? Long Yu smiled playfully. If Danzo could see it, he had high hopes that the ace who could kill Long Yu would be teased like a baby. I am afraid that it is the same as the horn, even the heart of death. No, you killed me, you killed me. Zhao Du roared with a grim look. Danzo, I already knew that you had nothing good. Uyu Xian and Yugong Gale couldn't help being stunned. They had also guessed that this assassination had something to do with Konoha. But it is also possible that Wu Nin Village and Yun Nin Village suffered a big loss in the hands of Long Yu. Deliberately offering a reward in the black market, let Zhao Du come to assassinate. However, now that the corners are all broken, everything is different. Killing from the outside world, no matter who it is. They are absolutely not afraid. But the current assassination came from Konoha. This is a knife in the back. Where does it not make people feel cold? Hee hee, tell everything, isn't that a good boy? Long Yu laughed dryly and said, don't worry, I won't kill you. You are a rare strong man. If this ninja world lacks you, it will also lose a lot of color, and I like your true temperament covered in copper. As soon as the voice fell, the Susano shrouded in Long Yu disappeared instantly. For the thousands of blood vessels that are still staring at the outside world, it seems that they have not paid attention to it. Aren't you afraid that I will kill you? Zhao Du couldn't help asking. Long Yu smiled playfully and said, isn't this basic trust? Or, I don't think you can kill me. The corners looked stagnant. If someone else said this, he would definitely not be convinced. But after seeing Long Yu's powerful means with his own eyes, the dignified S-level betrayal and forbearance actually lost to 2 balls. This is a complete nightmare. I admit defeat. Zhao Du gave this answer after holding back for a long time. Those blood vessels lurking in the soil were quickly recovered. Seeing the dignified S-rank betrayal and forbearance, he really opened his mouth to surrender, and Yugong Gale and Uyu Xian were stunned in place. From assassination to surrender, the gap is too big. The huge ruins looked unusually messy. The dignified S-rank betrayal corner duo, like a salted fish, lay in it. If Danzo can see that the bounty hunter he regards as an ace, he has become a pug in front of Long Yu. I am afraid it is difficult to accept. Don't worry, you will know later that this decision is correct. Long Yu patted Zhao Du on the shoulder. Now that you have lost 4 hearts, it happens that I have a very good goal. If you can get it, your strength will definitely skyrocket to a higher level. If you haven't seen it with your own eyes, Long Yu's powerful means. Zhao Du may not believe this statement. But after being tortured by 2 balls, now the corners are eager to become stronger. From then on, he stood up in front of Long Yu. What power are you talking about? Zhao Du grabbed Long Yu's arm. Feeling the strength from his 5 fingers, Long Yu couldn't help but smile. The world is most afraid of people who have no ambition. If so, how can a person become stronger? That only magnifies their ambitions infinitely. For example, Uchiha Obito turned from the back of the crane and turned into a big boss behind the scenes. This is the best interpretation. You should have heard that the Third Ninja War was triggered by the disappearance of Sand Ninja Village, the 3rd generation of Kazekage. Long Yu looked at Zhao Du. He acts in the dark all the year round, things outsiders may not know. As a bounty hunter, he will have more intelligence channels. In the corner of the world, there is nothing money can't solve. I know, this incident has caused a lot of trouble, but I don't know who did it. Zhao Du shook his head. The 3 generations of Feng have a reward of 10,000 taels in the black market. Is it really not your Konohagen? No, Long Yu shook his head. I asked you to find someone, and after finding him, you managed to take the heart of the 3 generations of Feng from his hands. With iron sand, your strength will reach a higher level. The grievances of Jiaodu can obtain this kind of chakra attribute change by plundering the hearts of others. Iron sand, like Yunren's dark thunder. They are all special variation attributes, which are different from the boundaries of blood. Others may not be able to get this power, but Kakato is an exception. It's just that Long Yu couldn't understand why in the original book, he could obviously become a strong ninjutsu. A good hand is often played badly. Could this be the legendary plot kill? Feeling the change in Long Yu's gaze, Jiaodu smiled helplessly and sat up straight with difficulty. Old boss. I know you, and I will definitely think that with such a powerful secret technique, why would you go to some special people to take the house? It's not that I don't want to, it's just that I can't do it alone. For Jiaodu's helplessness, Long Yu is actually very powerful. His fame is nothing more than the fact that Taki Shinobi sent out to assassinate the first Hokage. After standing in the distance and placing a shuriken, he was already frightened by his eyes, and fled back with his tail between his tail. Taki Shinobu village was afraid that the incident would happen, so after Kakato came back, he directly charged an unfounded crime. Jiaodu was angry, and directly seized the resentment of the secret technique. Originally, the overall strength of Taki Ninja Village was not enough. In the later stage of the original work, a single Shang ninja could hang a village. The existence of the incarnation monster facing the corner is completely a target. Do you know the whereabouts of the 3 generations of Feng? Zhao couldn't hold back his breath. Moonlight Gale and Uyu Xian in the distance were stunned for a moment, and were about to step forward. Long Yu's kaleidoscope writing wheel eyes turned in vain, instantly hypnotizing the 2 of them. Long Feng didn't disbelieve Mao Yuxian. But he didn't want to implicate her, and was monitored by Danzo and Anbu. In case of forced confession, it is even more inadvisable. Looking at Long Yu's casual glance, he hypnotized Mao Yuxian and Yugong Gaifeng, and after being surprised, he finally realized that something was wrong. Boss, is your Sharingan the same as Madara Uchiha? On that day, there were only 2 people in the ninja world who could make the corners flee with a single glance. The first is the original Hokage. The second is Madara Uchiha. Kakato, who survived the first ninja war, is no stranger to Madara Uchiha. Almost. Long Yu didn't hide it. Since you want to let a person do things for yourself, if you can't even shock and deter. How to sacrifice your life for yourself. Let's get back to business first. Long Yu returned to the topic and said, you have a lot of connections in the black market, so let me find a person named Shisha Scorpion. Chapter 44, Charisma. If you find him and ask him to give you the heart of the 3 generations of Cage, he needs a lot of materials to make human puppets, and he can only carry out the transformation while keeping the human alive. The biggest special feature of a human puppet is that it can possess the ninjutsu of its own life. Although the core of the puppet is also required, for Long Yu, it is good that the horns can get iron sand. However, it would be great if the scorpion of red sand could be recruited. Moreover, if you can't find Orochimaru, you can also come to reproductive cultivation, then you will have the best of both worlds. You mean that kid? Zhao Du's expression froze. Long Yu raised his brows. You know him? Of course I know. Zhao Du nodded. This kid likes to make puppets very much, and sometimes he buys some corpses from me that haven't died yet, and he also offers bounties to catch some living people. I didn't expect him to be so crazy. Let's go. That's the head of his village. Long Yu was instantly helpless. He didn't expect the person he wanted to recruit. One was covered in copper stench. One is heterosexuality. It seems that there are a bunch of weirdos in Xiao's organization. However, people who are not the same way, how can they come to the same road? Since you know where he is, let's go first. Several root ninjas have just arrived there. You should be able to solve it, right? Long Yu glanced at the woods not far away. As soon as they arrived, the expressions of the 3 root ninjas who were hiding inside for surveillance changed dramatically. I didn't have time to think about it. I quickly planned to withdraw and retreat. The purpose of their visit this time was to monitor the battle between Jiaodu and Long Yu, and then report back to Danzhou. However, let them never imagine. I thought it would be a protracted war, but I didn't expect it at all. After hearing the explosion and arriving later, the battle was over. Boss, don't worry, they can't get out of my palm to find that guy. I'd better change my heart first. Jiaodu gave a grim smile. In the jungle, dark blood vessels spurted out in an instant. Like a big net, it shrouded the 3 root ninjas overwhelmingly. Ah! 3 screams suddenly sounded. It will come to an end soon. With the help of a kaleidoscope, Long Yu saw the big underground, and without warning, a large blood vessel was shot out, directly piercing the bodies of the 3 root ninjas. Accompanied by the swallowing of blood, the originally weak Jiaodu gradually recovered his breath. The 3 hearts were dug out abruptly, and were directly lodged by the corners. Feeling the slightly recovered physical strength, Kaoru breathed a sigh of relief and finally stood up. Boss, I'm leaving first. Where do I need to deal with Danzhou? A murderous intent flashed across Jiaodu's face. For Danzhou's intelligence error this time, it almost cost him his life. If it wasn't for Long Yu, finally the body had the heart to recruit. I'm afraid he has now become a cold corpse. No need, you don't need to worry about this matter, I will handle it myself. Long Yu patted Jiaodu on the shoulder. Let's go. Jiao couldn't help but startled and said, Boss, don't you need to do something to me? If I just run away like this, you'll lose more than you gain. In the eyes of Jiaodu, there are many undercover spies from various countries. Each of them will use some illusions, secrets, forbidden techniques, etc. to remotely control them for safety and confidentiality. Originally, the most difficult thing to accept for Jiaodu to surrender is to endure the pain of being manipulated. No, it's unfavorable to use small tricks on your body, Long Yu said with a smile. Also, I believe in my charisma, and the whole ninja world will tremble when I am domineering. This seems like a joke. However, falling into Jiaodu's ear made his expression change involuntarily. After seeing with his own eyes, Long Yu's powerful means. And like Madara Uchiha, the blood moon eyes symbolized disaster. He knew that this young man was probably not aimless. Jiaodu took a deep breath, and after clarifying his thoughts, he said, Boss, I'll go first. If there is any news, I will contact you as soon as possible. After watching the corners leave, Long Yu walked to the side of Yu Xian and Yu Gongale. Solution. With a flip of the surgical seal in his hand, Moonlight Gale and Yu Xian woke up from their drowsiness. Long Yu, why did I fall asleep? I seem to have had a dream just now that an S-rank rebel is coming to assassinate us. Yu Xian rubbed her hazy eyes. When he saw the ruins in front of him, he was stunned. This is probably not a dream. Let's go, the time is about the same. If we continue to stay here, I am afraid that Konoha will send someone to find us. Long Yu rubbed the head of Mao Yuxian. When he used the kaleidoscope writing wheel just now, Long Yu didn't do anything. Azuki Xian recovered a little and glared. Long Yu, can't you always treat me like a little girl and rub my head? Compared with Long Yu, Yu Xian's age is similar. However, in terms of height, Long Yu is already 1.7 meters, which is significantly taller than Mao Yuxian, who is more than 1.5 meters. Not only can you see the top of your head, but you can also touch your head comfortably. The leaves seal in front of the gate. Due to the emergence of Uchiha Ryayu, Yunren and Wuren were defeated with a strong attitude. The top management of Konoha attached great importance to it. It should be said that even the younger generation in the Uchiha clan was greatly shocked. I thought that the emergence of a Uchiha Shishui had already overwhelmed the entire era. Not long ago, even the little devil of the Uchiha clan's patriarch showed his sharp edge. He was hailed as a little genius as soon as he entered the ninjutsu school. Now suddenly there is a genius who has been bullied for more than 10 years and lurked. This gap is a bit difficult to accept. It is for this reason that the Uchiha clan also sent a guard team to wait here. Opposite them, there are also Namikaze Minato and the rare Danzo. A few minutes ago, after Minato Namikaze had finished dealing with trivial matters, he returned to Konoha and unexpectedly found Danzo, who has always seen the dragon but not the end, appearing in front of the city gate. When he was surprised, his heart was also suspended. Thinking of what happened in the stronghold, that Danzo appeared here, obviously the weasel was greeting the chicken for the new year. No, the appointed time has passed, I'll go take a look. Minato Namikaze glanced at it, and the Chunin, who was stationed at the gate, couldn't help but want to act. Hehe, Minato, you just came back, where are you going now? Danzo stared at Minato all the time. At the moment when the Flying Thunder God Seal was formed, he hurriedly stepped forward and interrupted. Lord Danzo, the 3 Chunin I led the team exceeded the agreed time. I was worried about the accident, so I wanted to go and see it. Minato Namikaze said in a deep voice. Chapter 45, The Biting Watchdog. There was a hint of coldness between the words. Namikaze Minato was also dissatisfied with Danzo's successive attacks on Long Yu. However, for Long Yu and others' late arrival, Namikaze Minato is not the reason, and it is not easy to directly refute. Hehe, Minato, you are worthy of being the next Hokage's favorite, even doing things safely. Danzo was still laughing. In his heart, he silently calculated the time for Jiaodu to solve Long Yu. Looking at Minato, whose face was full of impatience, Danzo smiled even more. In his eyes, the longer the delay, the greater the chance that Minato waited to collect the body. 15 minutes have passed now, with the strength of S-rank betrayal, and the help of Fuma Ninja. It is not too difficult to solve a mere Chunin. Even this Chunin has a secret. Danzo-sama, you didn't deliberately stop me from saving people, did you? Minato Namikaze's expression darkened. The team was originally led by him. In case anything happened to Long Yu and others, he would be to blame. Minato, what you said made the old man feel chills. Tuanzang said this, but his smile became brighter. You know, everything I do is for Konoha. What's more, I don't know what you're talking about. I just watched the liveliness here and came here to join in the fun to see who you are waiting for here. Having said that, Danzo shook his head with a smile. However, looking at your expression, I'm afraid the chance of not waiting is not big. Then I'll go back first. I hope the little friend in your eyes can arrive safely. 15 minutes have passed. The monitors he sent also did not send out a notification signal. From Danzo's point of view, Long Yu and the others are sure to die. It is for this reason that it is of little use to continue to stay here. Minato, why are you here? Long Yu's voice suddenly sounded. Danzo's steps and the smile on his face immediately stiffened. Long Yu, nothing happened on your way, why did you delay 15 minutes? Minato Namikaze showed a smile on his face. However, when looking at Danzo, there was a little more provocation. A moment ago, he kept saying that it was impossible, but now Long Yu suddenly appeared. This slap made a slap in the face. Nothing happened, we just got tired and rested. Long Yu smiled and patted Minato Namaifung on the shoulder. Is there something wrong? If not, I'll go back to rest first. This scene immediately caused the guards standing not far away to become restless. Did you see, that trash Uchiha Ryu is actually the same as Namikaze Minato. They seem to have a good relationship. This Konoha is really quick to win people's hearts, no wonder he can become a popular candidate for the next Hokage. The guards headed by him. It was obviously a thin man in his early 20s, with hostility flashing in his pupils. Long Yu remembered that this one seemed to be called Uchiha Stone. Has a double hook jade writing wheel eye. Before the rise of Uchiha Shisui, he was known as a rookie of the Uchiha family, and he was also a hopeful existence. Unfortunately, at the moment when Uchiha Shisui became famous overnight, Uchiha Shi was instantly turned into slag. Now that another Uchiha Ryu appears, I am afraid that he will be dissatisfied. However, for all this, Long Yu did not take it to heart. In this world where strength is respected, there is nothing that cannot be solved by fists. If it doesn't work, then another punch. You are Uchiha Ryu. You are indeed a young hero. With all the obstacles along the way, you were able to reach Konoha village smoothly. It seems that the legend is true. Danzo turned around and said with a smile. However, the half-smile expression, all over his body, gave people an inexplicable depression. According to Long Yu, riding a horse is hiding a knife in a smile. Thank you for your concern, except for a few flies along the way, it seems that there is really no trouble. Long Feng smiled warmly. Or, it's because I am very lucky, or is it under Danzo-sama's command, is it because some of my subordinates are too unlucky, so they can't get back when they get lost? Having said that, Long Yu met Danzo's sight without any hesitation, and his smile grew brighter. Lord Danzo, do you think that biting guard dogs should be killed? Don't let me see those two beasts, otherwise I will not show mercy to anyone. As soon as the voice fell, Long Yu's pair of kaleidoscope writing wheels spun in vain. Immediately afterwards, the huge pupil power exploded like a frenzy, turning into a wave of air and sweeping away. However, this breath came and went in a hurry. It disappeared quickly. What a powerful pupil power! Danzo's expression froze. But looking at Long Yu's eyes, there was a hint of greed in the depths of his pupils. For the Uchiha family, Danzo is both love and hate. What he hates is the Uchiha family, and what he loves is their shakers. Moreover, it was learned from the information that the eyes that Long Yu possessed were obviously different from those of ordinary clansmen. Now that he has seen it with his own eyes, Danzo is even more certain that these eyes are definitely similar to the kaleidoscope recorded by the second-generation Hokage. Most importantly, the power of the pupil that burst out just now is so powerful. If it is not measured by the kaleidoscope writing wheel eye, it is absolutely impossible to explain. Uchiha Ryu, you are really different. You can even awaken the legendary eyes. Maybe you will surpass Uchiha Shisui and become a peerless genius in the family. Danzo directly pointed it out. Uchiha and other members of the garrison, their faces changed involuntarily. They are also from the Uchiha clan, and they are very happy when there is a strong person in the clan. But who doesn't want to? He is the strong one. Now let the old crane tail become a peerless genius in Danzang's mouth. Also awaken the legendary shaker. This kind of treatment is enough to make one's heart twist. Hee, Lord Danzo, you really know how to joke, maybe I'm not enough to compare with you. Long Yu laughed dryly. If you're okay, I'll go to the debrief. That's right, I almost forgot about this. Minato Namikaze quickly took over. The 3 generations of Hokage and the 2 Konoha advisors have been waiting for a long time. Let's report first. Shion, Gale, you go back to rest first. You are also tired during this time, don't walk around. Hearing the words, Yugong Bliss felt relieved. After looking at Long Yu, he quickly thanked him, turned around and left. Uyuki Shion was a little reluctant to part, but feeling the atmosphere in the field, she also knew that it was not suitable to stay now. After looking at Long Yu worriedly, he also turned and left. Chapter 46, Catch Him. For a time, the huge city gate had an inexplicable depressing taste. Minato, let's go. Long Yu patted Minato on the shoulder. Don't let the 3 generations wait for a long time. If you like Danzo-sama, you can continue to stay here, maybe you will wait for your hope. Abandoning these words, Long Yu took the lead and walked to the Hokage building. Namikaze Minato smiled bitterly. However, he also disagreed with Danzo's approach. Now that Danzo can suffer, it is too late for Namikaze Minato to be happy. It will not protect the weak mind of Danzo. Watching Ryu and Namikaze Minato leave, Uchiha Shi left with a gloomy face with the garrison. Lord Danzo, do you still have to wait? I'm already on time to change shifts. Chunin, who was guarding the sealed gate, asked weakly. Fuck me, is Danzo-sama qualified to ask? Shan Zongfeng flashed out in the dark. The oil girl followed behind to take the roots, and the expressions of the two were obviously not good-looking. Danzo did not speak. Regarding what Long Yu said just now, he was only in his arms. Although it was a little vague, but when he thought of the writing wheel that he had collected so hard on his arm. There is also a secret transaction with Orochimaru, but there is a feeling of being seen through in my heart. Danzo, as the founder of the Root, is also the senior executive of Konoha. Whether it's mental or strategic, even Chung Fu asked himself that even the 3 generations of Hokage couldn't compete with him. However, this time, not only did the assassination fail, but even a kid couldn't see through it. For the first time, Danzo understood what it was like to feel incomprehensible. Danzo-sama, didn't you let the S-rank of Taki Shinobi village betray and kill Uchiha Ryu? Why is he okay? Yamakaka couldn't hold back his anger. Thinking of the death of Ryuya Yamanaka, he could not wait to tear Long Yusheng apart. Feng, don't be nervous. Could it be that the kid changed his walking route and his corners were all empty? Oil Girl Togen said solemnly. Otherwise, with the character of this kid, if Jiaodu really misses, he will definitely attack now. To this remark, Danzo also nodded silently. Go find someone, contact Jiaodu, and check the inn at the same time. I want the result within 30 minutes. Don't worry, Lord Danzo, I'll go now. Shan Zongfeng couldn't hold back his breath. Abandoning these words, he turned around and rushed out of the sealed gate. He is now eager to verify the words of the oil girl taking the route. However, another thought flashed through my mind from time to time. In the Hokage office, the 3 generations of Hokage, Kaharu and Mito Menyon, closed their eyes and rested without saying a word, adding an inexplicable depression to the huge office. Sarutobi, do you think he will come? Mito Kadome suddenly said. Turning to bed, Xiaochun also looked at the 3 generations of Hokage. As soon as these words fell, the field fell into a brief silence, and the 3 generations of Hokage said, I believe in Minato, and I believe that he will definitely come. If you can't even overcome these dangers, how can you defeat Yunren and Wu Ren, and even I in the AB group admits his strength. Turning to bed, Kaharu and Mito Menyon's expressions froze. This answer is obviously not what they expected. Sarutobi, do you think things are too simple? Mito Kadome said. Soon an Anbu ninja appeared in the office like a ghost. Find the information on the bounty hunters who were handed over to Danzo. In addition to the Fuma clan, there are also Kakudo who attacked the first Hokage in the past, and Kakudo who attacked and killed the senior management of Taki Ninja Village. Anbu Ninja took out a scroll. It's him. Mito Menyon and Chuan Kaharu's expressions changed. However, a glimmer of happiness flashed in his pupils. 3 generations of Hokage's slightly aged cheeks showed a slight change in expression. Notify Minato Namikaze and have him come to see me immediately. Regarding the importance of Namikaze Minato and Long Yu, the 3 generations of Hokage were a little calm at first. However, after learning that Danzo had recruited such a monster to kill him, he couldn't hold his breath anymore. Sarutobi, you are too laborious. That kid will die if he dies. We don't have to worry too much. Don't forget, it's wartime, and it's also a critical moment. Mito Menyon nodded in agreement. Xiaochun is right, it is also a good thing for Konoha to have one less thing. Seeing that the 2 major consultants of Konoha gave such a reply, the 3 generations of Hokage looked stagnant, and chose to quickly pull the door and prepare to go in person. Lord Hokage, I brought Long Yu. As soon as the 3 generations of Hokage opened the door, it was Nika's Minato, and a slightly unfamiliar face. It's him. Mito Menyon and Chuan Shaochan's expressions couldn't help changing, and they couldn't help but stand up. Looking at Long Yu, who was standing side by side with Minato Namikaze at the door of the office, his expression was a little dazed. In their eyes, Long Yu was too young. At only 14 or 15 years old, he has the strength to defeat Yunren and Wuren alone. It's not even comparable to them. If he grows up, his future strength is even more unimaginable. Are you Uchiha Ryu? 3 Hokage breathed a sigh of relief. Come and rest first, you are different from what I expected. Seeing that the 3 generations of Hokage let out the door, Long Yu did not detain at all, and went straight in. Namikaze Minato was startled, touched the tip of his nose helplessly, and walked after him. HMPH, impolite kid. Turning to bed, Shaochan snorted coldly. However, just as the voice blurted out, it met Long Yu's gaze. At the moment when the 4 eyes were facing each other, the scarlet blood color quickly spread in Long Yu's pupils. Jugoyu's writing wheel eyes, when it suddenly turned, exuded an inexplicable smell of disaster. What? After bedtime, Shaochan's expression changed drastically. Kid, you dare! Mito Menyon swayed, and quickly appeared beside Long Yu. His right hand turned into an eagle's claws, and he grabbed him directly. Sealing technique water chain bound. A mysterious incantation formation, centered on Mito Menyon's right foot, spread rapidly. At the same time, 4 chains condensed from water were condensed out of thin air and quickly wrapped around Long Yu's body. However, as soon as this attack came out, Mito Gaetian felt that the heaven and the earth were changing, as if the stars were shifting. Illusion solution. The 3rd Hokage shouted anxiously. Mito Menyon suddenly woke up, panting for breath, and found that the water chain restraint that he had just cast had wrapped his limbs. Shaochan, who turned to bed beside him, was sweating profusely. Long Yu, what are you doing? Mito Menyon shouted angrily. Come here, catch him immediately. An angry roar echoed in the office. Chapter 47, Assault. However, half of the Anbu ninjas around did not appear. Don't get excited, I know you all want to know what kind of pupil technique I have. I just demonstrated it a little. Long Yu smiled warmly. Illusion hypnotic eye. As long as you have brief eye contact with me, you will be instantly hypnotized. Of course, if a ninja is strong, firm-willed, and experienced in combat, such a simple hypnotic eye cannot work on him. Untie. Long Yu's 9-go jade writing wheel eyes faded, and the illusion was instantly lifted. There were 8 Anbu hiding in the office. Moreover, the breath emanating from each body is a master of nerves. Boy, are you mocking us for being hypnotized? Mito Menyon's face sank and he shouted angrily, someone, hurry up and catch him for me. The 8 Anbu members who were present couldn't help but stunned. After looking at each other, they looked at the 3 generations of Hokage. They are directly under Hokage's Anbu, and they just listen to Hokage's orders. Kaharu and Mito Kazuya are Konoha's high-level executives and advisors. But getting them to act is absolutely impossible. Let's step back. Sandai Hokage waved his hand. The 8 Anbu ninjas disappeared without any hesitation. When they went to bed, Kaharu and Mito Kazuya's expressions changed. Sarutobi, what do you mean? He attacked Konoha's high-level officials, and even made trouble in Hokage's office. This should be punished. Turning to bed, Shaochan shouted in a hurry. Mito Menyon didn't speak, but when he thought that he had been hit by an illusion just now, he was caught by the restraint of the water whip he cast. This made his face a little uneasy. Okay, just now Long Yu just showed a little bit. I will handle this matter, and you don't need to say more. The 3 generations of Hokage said without doubt. Besides, I am Hokage. If you are not injured, just shut up. The faces of Kaharu and Mito Kazuo couldn't help changing when they went to bed. Regarding the always moderate Sarutobi Hizen, they knew that only when the fate of Konoha was decided would they show such toughness. After looking at Long Yu, Mito Menyon snorted coldly and said, "Since Hokage doesn't need us to be present, then as Konoha's consultant, Xiaochun and I will leave first. I hope that the 3 generations of Hokage will not do anything that endangers the foundation of Konoha, otherwise we don't mind going to the daimyo." Abandoning these threatening words, Mito Kadori and Kaharu turned around and walked out of Hokage's office. When he left, the murderous gaze was so eager to swallow Long Yusheng. Okay, Minato closed the door. Sandai Hokage didn't take their words to heart. As Konoha's Hokage, the reputation of the 3rd generation is still very high. If Mito Kazuo and Schwan Kaharu were casually frightened, how could they do something big? Lord Hokage, if you end like this, it seems that the 2 advisors will go to Danzo's camp. Long Yu was the first to speak. As soon as Namikaze Minato closed the door, he felt a headache. He had already expected that with Long Yu's unruly character, he would definitely make things extravagant. It never occurred to me that as soon as I came to Hokage's office, I directly confronted Kaharu and Mito Menyon. What made Namaifung Minato didn't expect that the hypnotic effect of Kaleidoscope Shaker's eyes would be so powerful. Even Konoha's 2 high-level advisors were caught off guard when they were caught off guard. Uchiha Ryayu, you really hid very deeply. With your mind and guts, I really don't know how to describe you. 3 generations of Hokage shook his head with a smile. Obviously you have such a powerful strength, but you have hidden your edge for more than 10 years. I can call your mind like a demon. Regarding this evaluation, Long Yu also smiled and did not speak. After all, I can't tell the 3 generations of Hokage, I was through the army, and I just captured the body of this short-lived ghost, and then opened the plug-in and became stronger in an instant. Moreover, now the 3 generations of Hokage have personally made up their minds to help him find excuses, and Long Yu is not happy. Seeing Long Yu smiling and not speaking, the 3rd Hokage frowned and changed his way of speaking. Long Yu, I want to know, why did you do this, and, after hiding for so long, why did you suddenly attack again? Because you don't want to see the past lost, or you don't want to see other people die. Or, you have other people you value and don't want them dying. Having said that, Minato Namikaze couldn't help but look at Long Yu. Moreover, he also nodded secretly to the straight-to-the-point questioning of the 3 generations of Hokage. At least, during the time he was in contact with Long Yu, Minato Namikaze was very clear about Long Yu's character. Long Yu, remember, any answer will be related to whether you can stay in Konoha Ninja Village. Of course, I hope that you, like Minato, will become a powerful new force in our Konoha Ninja Village. 3 generations of Naruto can't stop adding one more sentence. Looking at the 3 generations of Hokage with a solemn expression, Long Yu smiled warmly. I have no interest in Hokage's position, nor do I have the so-called sense of belonging to the competition between your factions. However, I don't like other people being sneaky. If you don't like me, you can let the horses come over. Or, if you're not afraid of death, I don't mind killing 1 by 1, or 2 by 1. Long Yu's smile became brighter and brighter. After a short pause, he said, I just want to be my salted fish. Salted fish. Namikaze Minato and Sandai Hokage couldn't help but startled. For such a refreshing and refined adjective, they obviously can't think of anything. Long Yu, what is a salted fish? Minato Namikaze couldn't help but ask. The 3 generations of Hokage heard the words, and even the Anbu in the dark, also showed a hint of urgency. After all, from what Long Yu said just now, his attitude will shake Konoha's safety. The salted fish just has time to bask in the sun, so I bask in the front, and then bask in the days behind. Long Yu explained while touching the tip of his nose. For this kind of life, in the eyes of previous lives, this is a symbol of successful people. Imagine when someone else is at work. Under the sun and the beach, basking in the sun. From time to time, there is a big beautiful girl who wears a little less cloth, and helps to turn over and wipe the sun oil from time to time. Isn't life a salted fish? Wave-Wind Minato is stunned. Do not. It should be said that even the 3 generations of Hokage and Anbu, who was hiding in the dark, have become stiff. This salted fish life is too nonsense. Long Yu, your request is really that simple. The 3rd Hokage couldn't hold back his breath. If you want, I can promote you to the elite Jonin, and also publish your record, so that you have the same power as Watergate. Even the ninjas of Anbu were surprised by the sweet pastry thrown by the 3 generations of Hokage. Namikaze Minato has long been regarded as the successor of the next Hokage, and has a unique identity and status. Chapter 48, Failed. Now, as soon as the 3 generations of Hokage opened their mouths, they proposed this condition. That means probably admitting that Long Yu has the qualifications to compete with Hokage. I don't need it, being Hokage is such a troublesome thing. I don't want to age prematurely, and I will lose my hair and white hair. If I'm not careful, I have to die for the village. This kind of fearless spirit should be left to Minato. Long Yu didn't care at all. If nothing else, I'll go back to rest first. Abandoning these words, Long Yu turned around and left. Seeing this, Namikaze Minato looked stagnant. He was about to speak out to discourage him, but he had already seen the 3 generations of Hokage shaking his head to stop him. As the door of the office was closed again, the 3 generations of Hokage pondered for a while, and then said, Minzuman, what do you think, is the salted fish that Long Yu said just now true? As for Long Yu's salted fish theory, the 3 generations of Hokage now have a headache when thinking about it. This is too much. Lord Hokage, I think Ryu is trustworthy. Minato Namikaze said with a flickering expression. From the very beginning, he clearly knew the situation of the Uchiha clan. Not only did he not have any hatred, but when Yunren raided, facing hundreds of Yunren and AB groups, he did not hesitate to give up the secret that had been hidden for more than 10 years, and he even rescued him. This proves Long Yu's heart. Still among the leaves. After repelling Yunren, I knew that Danzang would definitely take his anger on him because of the mountain stroke and the oil girl taking root. Not only did he not escape, but he also defeated Kirin's sneak attack again, and now he is following me back to Konoha. With the strength he just showed, he sneaked away halfway. Who can stop him? Having said that, Namikaze Minato looked at the 3 generations of Hokage. He clearly knows that no matter how much he talks, the one who can really decide is the 3rd Hokage. Minato, I know your thoughts very well. The 3 generations of Hokage pondered for a while and said, the matter of Uchiha Ryu will be handed over to you. I hope you can make him a sharp spear in the hands of our Konoha, as radiant as you are. The departure of the 3 ninjas is actually an important fuse for the 3rd Ninja War. A small voice echoed in the office. Namikaze Minato's expression froze, and he fell into a brief silence. In the Second Ninja World War, Sanshoyu Hanzo gave Jiraiya, Tsunade, and Orochimaru the title of Sannin. It can be said that for a while, Sannin was in the limelight in the huge ninja world. 3 people appearing in any battlefield is enough to dominate a battle. If it is placed now, with these 3 subordinates on every battlefield, the 3 major countries want to offend the country of fire. Still need to weigh 1 or 2. Unfortunately, Orochimaru's betrayal, Tsunade's post-traumatic sequelae. There are also spontaneous departures. For Konoha, it was a huge blow. If, with the addition of a new force like Long Yu, it would be best to end the current 3rd Ninja War. Lord Hokage, don't worry, I have a good relationship with Fuyu. With his assistance, Long Yu is at best a salted fish. Minato Namikaze said at the end, thinking of what Long Yu had just said. Couldn't help but smile. The 3 generations of Hokage also shook their heads with a helpless smile and said, with your words, I feel at ease. About Shinwukun Bridge, the latest news has been sent back. I hope you take the time to visit as soon as possible. Yanran has dispatched a large number of elites. The fight between them and Yunren seems to be over. Outside, Kaharu and Mito Kazuya walked out of the Hokage building with a gloomy look. It's Danzo. Mito Menyon raised his brows. Let's go and see. Turning to bed, Xiaochun left those words behind and walked over quickly. Why did you come down? Where did the kid go? Danzo just planned to return to the Hokage building. That kid is too arrogant. He even performed illusions on us in Hokage's office, but his eyes are too terrifying. I'm afraid he is proficient in illusions. Mito Menyon said angrily. Danzo, didn't you let the S-rank betray Ninja Kodo and go and kill him? Why did you fail? Powerful illusion. Danzo's expression changed slightly. It seems that Sarutobi's intelligence network is still so powerful that it even knows who I am looking for. I did find the betrayal Kakuto of Taki Ninja Village, and the Fengmo clan to intercept it, but looking at that kid's expression, I'm afraid he secretly changed his route and escaped. I knew that he's just a coward who is greedy for life and fear of death. How could he be the opponent of S-rank rebel Kakuto? Mito Menyon snorted coldly. This kid is too unruly. I'm worried that he can't be used by Konoha. Danzo, you should contact Kakuto as soon as possible and try to solve it. Turning to bed, Xiaochun didn't speak, but her expression already showed what she meant. A smile appeared on Danzo's face when he looked at Kaharu and Mito Kamen, who were still standing in the Sarutobi Hizen camp. Don't worry, this time Sarutobi made such a decision, it has already endangered the foundation of Konoha. I will contact Kakuto as soon as possible, and try to solve the boy, but the position of the next Hokage, I think you are not too. It's time to think about it. For Danzo, this is his best chance to capture Hokage. If there are two high rises, Kaharu and Mito gate Yan. There is also evidence to prove that Sarutobi Hizen's decision failed, then he has enough odds to compete with Namikaze Minato for the position of the next Hokage in front of the daimyo. Mito Menyon and Kaharu couldn't help but stagnate for a while. They were already expected. But I didn't expect Danzo to make no secret of Hokage's location. Lord Danzo, the mountain wind is back. Oil Girl Togen suddenly said. Danzo glanced at it, and the hesitant Mito Menyon and Xiaochun turned to bed, and said, you don't have to make a decision too quickly. I will let Shan Zongfeng and Zhao both contact and let him solve Long Yu as soon as possible. Quote. Go back and think about it again. Now is the critical time of the war. The four major countries have attacked our country of fire at the same time, and the daimyo is already furious. All this is because of Sarutobi's so-called steady thinking. What kind of cultivation and recuperation? If he had listened earlier, he would have obeyed. My persuasion and the use of iron fists have shocked the four major countries. Our Konoha ninja village is the only one who dares to offend us. Mito Gate and Kaharu fell into silence. Shan Zongfeng also arrived in a hurry, with sweat all over his head and a look of urgency on his face. If he hadn't been panting heavily, he would have been the first to speak. Feng, speak slowly, they are also our camp now. Danzo said with a sullen smile. You go to contact Jiaodu now, the target has returned to Konoha, we will try to create opportunities for him to shoot, this time only to succeed, not to fail. Quote. Lost, failed, Danzo-sama, Jiaodu and the Fengmo clan may have failed. Shan Zongfeng couldn't care too much. Chapter 49, Who else dares to shoot? Danzo's smile suddenly stiffened, and his cheeks twitched as he said, Feng, what nonsense are you talking about, what happened? In Danzo's eyes, Uchiha Ryu is so powerful that he can't compare with an S-level rebel who has been famous for a long time and slaughtered high-level officials. Dead, all the elites of the Fengmo clan were killed, and there are traces of large-scale battles in the inn. Shan Zongfeng said with a livid expression. Among them, from the damaged traces of some ninjutsu, the power has reached the S-level level. What? Whether it was Danzo, or Mito Menyon, and Kaharu's face changed. Although Long Yu was a group of 3 people, they did not believe that 2 newcomers, Yu Gongale and Uyu Xian, could perform such a powerful ninjutsu. As for the so-called S-level ninjutsu, if it is from the hands of Kakuto, then there is absolutely no way for Long Yu to come back alive. After this heavy deliberation, it was proved that this S-rank ninjutsu probably came from Long Yu's hands. S-rank betrayal Kakudu, who had high hopes for him, was probably dead. Thinking of this, Mito Menyon and Chuan Kaharu's faces turned ashen. Just now they were tit for tat with Long Yu. In case of accidental illusion, and the 3 generations of Hokage didn't save them in time, Long Yu violently shot. What awaits them is probably certain death. Mito, Xiaochun, don't forget, you promised me something. Danzo was anxious and quickly returned to this topic. Xiaochun, the weather is fine today, and we haven't had a cup of coffee for a long time. Mito Menyon suddenly said. Turning to bed, Xiaochun nodded and said, all right, I feel like we haven't been together for a long time. Looking at the two who turned and left after leaving this nonsense, Danzo's expression turned ashen to the extreme. You bastard, bastard. Danzo's face was full of resentment. This should have been his closest chance to Hokage's position. However, now even the horns were beheaded by Long Yu, which was beyond his expectations. Danzo-sama, what should we do now? Yamakaka couldn't hold back his breath. Now even the S-rank betrayal can't kill Uchiha Ryu, we have to watch him in vain in Konoha. Swagger. Fung, don't be impulsive, Danzo-sama will have a solution. The oily girl took root hurriedly to dissuade him. However, he said this in his mouth, but he couldn't figure out what happened in his heart for a moment or 3. Even the existence of horns can't deal with Long Yu, who else dares to take action? Don't worry, I've thought of a good candidate. The residence of the Uchiha family is located in the northwest corner of Konoha Ninja Village. It is against the edge of the village and there are mountains, giving people a feeling that it is easy to defend and difficult to attack. However, for Konoha, it is easier to guard the gate of the Uchiha family. In this way, you can always be on guard against the defection of the Uchiha clan. After Long Yu left the Hokage building, he walked to the residence of the Uchiha family. After 2 lives, Long Yu became cautious. Still, there is a soulful attachment to this place. This may be the only thing left by the previous soul to Long Yu. Long Feng looked up and saw the simple gate not far away with the Uchiha family's emblem on it. Whoosh! The sound of breaking the air suddenly sounded. Long Yu raised his brows, and threw out 3 shuriken with his backhand, which turned into a black light, and swept straight to his side. Clang clang. 3 metal collisions sounded suddenly. The shuriken was deflected directly. Fire escape, how fireball technique. A slightly immature voice suddenly sounded. Long Yu rolled his eyes helplessly, and looked at the giant fireball that was 4 or 5 meters in diameter and rolled over. Water escape, water dragon ball technique. The water dragon erupted and collided directly with the How fireball. Boom! Thunder-like explosions came out, and the water mist rose into the sky. Itachi is enough, if you want to fight, wait for the next time. Like a ghost, Long Yu passed through the blast of wind and waves, appeared behind Itachi, and pressed his shoulder. Itachi was taken aback, his hands were still quickly forming seals, but he didn't expect Long Yu's speed to be so fast. Even his own was only slightly captured. When you were only 6 years old, you opened the single Guyu writing wheel. You are really amazing, Itachi. Long Yu patted Itachi on the shoulder. For this cousin, even Uchiha Ryu in his previous life is very loving. Moreover, Uchiha Itachi also takes care of this cowardly and introverted cousin on weekdays. Brother, you usually hide really deep. Uchiha Itachi turned around, a little unhappy on his face. Long Yu reluctantly touched the tip of his nose and said, I just don't want to cause trouble, but if I can't escape this time, there is no way. Aren't you in ninja school? You're not skipping class with your shadow clone, are you? Uchiha Itachi's expression was stagnant, obviously being stabbed in a sore spot. Brother, don't tell my dad that. Uchiha Itachi said anxiously. For Uchiha Itachi, who just entered the ninjutsu academy. At that time he was still a naive and romantic boy. It's just that after graduating from the ninjutsu academy, his character gradually became silent, and the more things he was exposed to at the same time, the more things he shouldered. In the end, the death of Uchiha Shisui caused Uchiha Itachi to completely enter the dead end of his mind. "Don't worry, your dad won't bother me, it's already very good." Long Yu patted Uchiha Itachi on the shoulder. Looking at the woods not far away, he raised his brows and performed the Shunshu technique directly. "Brother." Uchiha Itachi just opened his mouth, and before he could finish his sentence, he saw Uchiha Longyu disappear out of thin air. It's a very fast lightning speed, faster than the water stop. Uchiha Itachi looked stagnant, and quickly followed. "As soon as I set foot in the woods, I heard a cry for help. Long Yu, I'm sorry for causing you trouble." Mao Yuxian was holding a chakra knife, her pretty face was dirty, and there was a hint of tiredness. "I just want to bring you something to eat." I didn't expect him to say that I am good at the important places of the Uchiha clan. Having said that, Yuxian bowed her head aggrievedly. "Don't take it to heart." Long Yu shook his head and looked at the three people who were blocking Yuxian, his face darkened. If he remembered correctly, the leader of the team was one of the vice captains, Uchiha Shi, who was once known as a little genius, and 2 followers. However, later, due to the birth of Uchiha Shisui, he was overwhelmed. Chapter 50, His Secret. "Long Yu, is this your friend? Could it be that you have forgotten that people who are not from the Uchiha family can't be within 500 meters of the garrison station?" Uchiha Shi laughed playfully. This time, he went out of his way to find trouble, just to convince Long Yu to his subordinates. "Uchiha Shi, I remember that there is no such rule in the garrison. My father would never set such a rule." Uchiha Itachi was the first to speak. "Hurry up and let the people go, or you will violate the rules of the clan." Because the Uchiha clan has always longed for the location of Hokage. It's a pity that every time it exceeds the number of votes, it will be greatly behind. After all, there are a lot of people in the Uchiha family, and they are considered a big family in the ninja world. But compared with the entire Konoha ninja village, there is no comparison at all. Therefore, for this position of Hokage, Uchiha Fuyu has made a lot of preparations. It's a pity that at the same time there was a ghost wave Feng Minato. In the case of Uchiha Fuyu's hidden kaleidoscope writing wheel eye, the two are not comparable at all. HMPH, now that the Fuyu patriarch is not here, then I am the rule. Uchiha Shi said in a deep voice. "Actually, we are all from the same clan. As long as you listen to me carefully in the future, the matter of her trespassing on our garrison this time will be fine. Otherwise, don't blame us for the execution now." Uchiha Itachi's face changed slightly, and he looked at Long Yu with a little hesitation. "Itachi, don't leave this time in the murky waters, stand aside and watch." Long Yu patted Uchiha Itachi on the shoulder, looked at Uchiha Shi and said, "Is there no room for negotiation?" Uchiha Shi was stunned at first, then sneered. "I forgot to tell you, I was just appointed as the elite Jonin. Do you think there is room for negotiation on this matter?" "Elite Jonin." Long Yu smiled warmly. "No wonder you dare to change the rules without authorization. It turned out to be an elite Jonin. The elites are among the Konoha, and it seems that there are not many." Having said this, the smile on Long Yu's face became even more intense, and the next moment he spoke with a hint of coldness. "Unfortunately, your confidence is a bit lacking." As soon as the voice fell, the arc on Long Yu's body crackled. Boom! At the same time that the ground under his feet suddenly collapsed, the whole person was like an electric light, passing by in the blink of an eye. A distance of tens of meters is but the blink of an eye. When Uchiha and others reacted, Long Yu had already appeared in front of them. Heavy flow. The 5 fingers of Long Yu's right hand suddenly clenched tightly, without any fancy, and smashed directly towards Uchiha-shi's abdomen. Boom! Like a thunderous explosion, all defenses are pale and powerless under the thunderous light. The powerful impact immediately made the Uchiha stone fly upside down like a cannonball. With the dull sound of collision, the big tree directly cut off the middle. The violent scene, and Long Yu bathed in the thunder light, made the expressions of the remaining two little servants change drastically. Before he could think about it, he hurriedly took out the kunai with his backhand, and stabbed Long Yu directly in the chest. However, in the face of this scene, Long Yu seems to have no idea. The moment the two black kunai were stabbed in front of the chest, under the thunder, they were directly bounced off. What kind of monster is this? The faces of the two attendants turned pale, and as soon as they took a step back, their huge fists quickly enlarged in their pupils. Boom! The two figures flew out like cannonballs. Hit two big trees. Under the splash of blood, he fell directly to the ground and couldn't get up. This is too strong. Uchiha Itachi's expression was stagnant and unbelievable. He learned about the change of his cousin from the mouth of Uchiha Fuyu. However, according to Uchiha Itachi's understanding, this kind of change is also at the level of Sharingan, or elite Sharingan. When he saw Uchiha Shi and the other two doglegs appearing just now, he also thought about holding him back. Never thought that Long Yu would kill Uchiha Shi, an elite Junin, as soon as he shot. Isn't it hurt? Long Yu rubbed the head of Yu Xian, who was still absent-minded. If you're injured, I can help you heal a thing or two. When he was at the base, Uchiha Long Yu did not miss the opportunity to let Silent guide medical ninjutsu. Now his palm immortal technique, as well as the technique of delicate suffering extraction, have reached full level in an instant. I'm fine, this is because the lunchbox I brought for you is broken. Yu Xian said disappointedly. Let's go, let's eat eel ramen. Long Yu shook his head helplessly. Is this okay? Yu Xian couldn't help but startled, but her cheeks turned crimson. In her eyes, this is not much different from so-called dating. And the kid over there, if you don't mind. Long Yu looked at Uchiha Itachi with a confused face. Itachi is now only a little over 6 years old, graduating from ninja school at the age of 7. So I just opened a single hook jade, and the strength is a little stronger than the Chunin at best. Is this your brother Uchiha Itachi? Azuki Shion had obviously heard of this little genius, and said quickly. Of course I don't mind, Itachi is so cute. Azuki Yuyan pinched Uchiha Itachi's cheek. If people in later generations know that Itachi God is treated like this, they don't know what the expression will be. I don't actually need to go. Uchiha Itachi reacted in absent-mindedness. You don't want to know, how deep is your brother's hiding? Yu Xian said with a playful smile, we may be able to squeeze out his secrets by joining forces. And, don't you want to know, how did he defeat Yunren and Wu Ren with his own power? Hearing these words, Uchiha Itachi hesitated for a moment, then bit his lip and agreed. Let's go. Long Yu rolled his eyes helplessly and turned to lead the way. Along the way, there was this little beauty, Mao Yu Xian, who attracted the attention of many people. In particular, seeing Azuki Yuyan and the Uchiha clan walking together, her face was more or less disgusted. For all of this, Long Yu didn't take it to heart, but he didn't expect that Konoha was already so hostile to the people of the Uchiha family. Welcome. A 12 or 13-year-old girl came out. A chorus, invite the guests to sit down first, I'll make the ramen, and then I can serve it. The sound of hand beating came from the kitchen. I want a char shao ramen. Long Yu sat down casually. This is jokingly called by Hokage fans, Konoha will fall, and it will never fall, the most mysterious Ikyle ramen shop in Hokage. Among them, it was also imagined that the real identity of Uncle Yil was still hiding in the village of Konoha Ninja, the most mysterious Otsutsuki. I want barbecue pork too. Mao Yu Xian hurriedly agreed. In her eyes, only eating the same thing as Long Yu can be called a date. Chapter 51, Contract. Me too, Uchiha Itachi said helplessly. However, the two soon entered the exchange meeting. When Yu Xian mentioned Uchiha Ryu, when he used Lei Dunkilin to kill hundreds of Yunren in seconds. Uchiha Itachi looked at Long Yu with a hint of shock and awe. Hand beat, give me a char shao ramen. A slightly tired voice came from outside the door. Long Yu raised his brows, and saw a man with silver hair and a huge scroll on his back, sitting beside him. Lord Jiraiya, I didn't expect you to come back at this juncture. He slapped his hand and walked out of the back kitchen, his face filled with joy. Handfight is an ordinary businessman in Konoha, and he only knows about the situation of the battle. However, no one would be worried when they learned that the 3 major battlefields were opened at the same time. Jiraiya, who became famous as the Second Ninja World War, was a reassurance for Konoha. Shandai, you are still the same. Zilai also tore open his chopsticks, looked at the snacks that shoot a signal to a chorus, and shook his head. I'm coming back this time, just to report the information to the 3rd generation, and I will leave soon. The war will soon be decided. The expression on his hands couldn't help changing, and he quickly made a silent gesture to Jiraiya. Lord Jiraiya, there are juniors here, you can't say these information casually. By the way, don't drink this time. Last time, Lord Jiraiya, but he told a lot of information. If Lord Hokage hadn't arrived in time, I would have become a sinner. With a hand, he removed the sake from Jiraiya's table. Okay, this time back, it's really not suitable for drinking with wine. This time, Zilai also didn't have a dispute with Sho, but instead looked at Long Yu. Handbeat is not a stupid person, he saw the clue in an instant, and returned to the kitchen with Calamus. The ramen will be ready in 10 minutes. Understood. Zilai also knew that this was a hand-tapping reminder. Seeing the young man in front of him who seemed to recognize him early in the morning, Zilai also sighed. I didn't expect that the Watergate asked me to come back because of you, little devil. I heard that you defeated Yunren and Wu Ren alone. This level of strength is infinitely close to the shadow level. Looking at the entire Konoha, there are very few people who can defeat you. Azuki Yuyan and Uchiha Itachi wisely stopped talking. Looking at one of the dignified Sannin, I was also shocked when Uchiha Longyu gave such an evaluation. Lord Jiraiya, you are serious. Longyu smiled casually. I originally only planned to be a salted fish, just like writing a little yellow book like you. This life is very free. If I hadn't been caught and used as a strong man, I wouldn't want to make up for these things. Having said this, Long Yu sighed helplessly. Unfortunately, I am soft-hearted and kind, and I still can't help but take action. Seeing Long Yu with an indifferent face, Jiraiya was startled at first. These words are not much different from what Minato Namaifeng mentioned. Unfortunately, this is not the result that JJ also needs. Long Yu, you should be very clear that sometimes, once you are exposed, you can't go back to the past, and many times you still need to make a choice. Zilai also said solemnly. This time, I'm coming back, just to know what do you think Konoha will do in this 3rd ninja war. The decisive battle of Shinwukun Bridge is about to start. In this case, the biggest variable is Uchiha Longyu. With the strength he has shown, he can completely defeat 1,000 with one. In case of running wild in the rear of Konoha, this is a huge disaster for Konoha. Don't worry, I just want to go to the battlefield. Long Yu smiled indifferently and said, in the battle of Shinwukun Bridge, Konoha will win. Jiraiya obviously did not expect that Long Yu would agree so readily. However, this also just resolved his and Konoha village's concerns. Instead of putting Uchiha Longyu, this variable is placed in Konoha Shinobi Village. Might as well, let Ryu and Namikaze Minato go to the battlefield together. This at least stabilizes the big rear. However, I have one condition. Long Yu said suddenly. Jirai couldn't help but startled and said, what conditions do you have? As long as it doesn't endanger Konoha's safety, I can promise you. Don't worry, don't always take me as a threat. As I said, I'd rather be a salted fish than show my face. Unfortunately, people are afraid of being famous and pigs are afraid of being strong, so I can't do anything about it. Long Yu laughed dryly. Originally, Long Yu was a little disappointed that Miao Mushin's psychic scroll was not seen on Minato Namikaze. Never thought that Zilai would also take the initiative to deliver it to the door. This kind of fat sheep is not slaughtered for nothing. Do you have the idea of psychics? Zilai also raised his brows and said, Minato mentioned to me that you want to sign a psychic contract with the toad of Miaomu Mountain. There's no problem with this, but I want to warn you that you must not do anything wrong to Miaomushin, or I will withdraw your contract. As the Toad Fairy of Mt. Miaomu, Jiraiya also has many special rights. Among them, entering and leaving Miaomu Mountain, and combining with the two immortals, are two of them. Don't worry, I'm a good person. I finish the ramen first, and then we sign the contract. Long Yu smiled and looked at the hand who came out. The aroma of the ramen has already permeated. Seeing that there was no conflict between Jiraiya and Uchiha Ryayu, I couldn't help but feel relieved. The ramen is here, Jiraiya-sama, this is sake. Why did you let me drink again? Aren't you worried that I'm drunk and talking nonsense again? Haha, Lord Jiraiya, aren't there 3 little devils beside you? They just happened to take you back. For this ramen meal, Uchiha Itachi and Azuki Yuyan didn't speak, and they ate it fast. Seeing the eagerness on their faces, Long Yu knew that they were clear and wanted to see the signing of the psychic contract. Among Hokage, there are very few people who can sign a psychic contract. Moreover, even if they were able to sign it, the contract psychic beasts signed by many people were not very powerful. Compared with the most famous Slippery Forest, Longdi Cave, and Miaomu Mountain, the difference is too far. As for these 3 places of contract, it is also because of the rise of Sannin that the entire ninja world has become famous. Now Long Yu can actually sign a contract with Miaomushin, which is the proof of a strong man. We're done eating, thank you for your hospitality. Azuki Shion and Uchiha Itachi said in unison. Feeling the fiery gazes of the two, Long Yu lost his appetite. Moreover, when he thought that he had signed a psychic contract, he could try to get the immortal mode afterward, and Long Yu felt an inexplicable urgency in his heart. You 3, don't stare at me all the time, there is no yaksing who drinks. Zilai was helpless, patted his wallet and said, this time, let me pay the bill. It's rare to come back to Konoha. One more time to waste money on you little bastards. Chapter 52, The Art of Necromancy. It would be great if it were used on some big girls. Thinking of these young ladies in the hot spring bath, a trace of reminiscence appeared on Jiraiya's face. Let's go, don't say that you are Sannin when you go out, you look like a pig brother, it's shameful. Long Yu rolled his eyes and took the lead in leaving with Uchiha Itachi and Azuki Shion. Boy, what nonsense are you talking about? You are still young, and you don't know what the world of adults is. Why don't I lend you the intimacy paradise? This will allow you to open up a second world view, so you don't have to be a salted fish all the time. There is color in life. After Zilai also paid the bill, he hurriedly chased after him. When the 4 left, a figure flashed out in the dark and quickly walked towards the roots. Under the leadership of Itachi Uchiha, Long Yu finally came to the slightly secluded basin outside the village. Looking around, there are few people around, but in the open space in the middle, there are many scarecrows dedicated to practicing shuriken, and the traces of attacks scattered on the ground. It seems that the identity of Uchiha Itachi, the king of skipping classes, is not nonsense. I didn't expect that the Uchiha clan would have 3 geniuses this time. If they were not 7 years old, they would be able to practice the shuriken technique to such a degree. Jiraiya has also been the tail of the crane for half his life. But now that he has mastered immortality, he can definitely be called the strongest existence in the 3 ninjas. This may be the counterattack of the hard-working genius. Boy, why don't I accept you as a disciple, and you go wandering with me? Zilai also said coldly. Uchiha Itachi couldn't help but shook his head and said, no need, I want my brother to guide me. Let this monster. Zilai also glanced at Uchiha Ryayu and said, you follow this monster, but it is easy to be traumatized. If you follow me, I can give you another kind of enlightenment. You have to know that this world is very big, and some things are very cool. It's like landing in heaven. As long as you try it, you will linger. looking at Jiraiya, who ran the train as soon as he opened his mouth. Jiraiya, if you want to harm, go back and harm Watergate. Now Shinwukun Bridge is in a hurry, let's finish the serious business first. You kid, you're just a lump of wood, no wonder even the little beautiful girl beside you ignored it. Zilai also pouted. However, he still took off the contract scroll from his body. Boy, this is Meowmushin's contract scroll. Only after the contract is signed on the scroll, can the toad of Meowmushin be summoned. Zilai also rolled out the scroll. There are people who have signed contracts with Meowmushin in the past dynasties, and there is also the name of Otsutsuki Kagaya's son Yumura. Boy, if you have other psychic beasts, then cancel the contract first. The toads of Meowmu Mountain are not small. If you let them know that you are on 2 boats, you will suffer. Jiraiya, don't worry, my temper is not small, I hope Toad won't provoke me. Long Yu said with a smile. Is your tone really big? Zilai also rolled his eyes and said, wait a while, don't cry, ask me for help. Bite your index finger first, then leave your name on it, and then let me cast the spell. Once the contract is made, you can't betray Meowmushin casually, otherwise it will become a stone. At the end, Jiraiya also did not forget to remind. Looking at the rolled-out scroll, Long Yu bit his finger, and the moment blood flowed out, he quickly wrote his name on it. When Long Yu's hand was withdrawn, Jiraiya's hands quickly formed a seal, and finally the 5-color light lit up and pressed directly on the scroll. The white air was transpiring, and the seal in Jiraiya's hand instantly converged with Long Yu's signature, turning it into a mysterious sealing spell. When these rays of light dissipated, Long Yu felt that there was an inexplicable connection with the different dimension. Okay, the contract has been successful, you can try it, but I advise you to be careful, don't be ashamed. Zilai also put away the scroll and carried it on his back again. By the way, I haven't learned how to seal the seal of the psychic technique. You can teach me along the way. Long Yu remembered an important question. His body has been useless for more than 10 years, and he can't even recognize ninjutsu, let alone such a high-level psychic technique. You still don't understand the seal of spiritism. Zilai was also a little surprised. After all, he only returned to Konoha village to find out what happened after he learned about the letter from Minato Namikaze and knew that in addition to Long Yu, a peerless genius who had been dormant for more than 10 years in Konoha village. Now Long Yu told him that it was beyond his understanding that he didn't know the art of psychics. Seeing Long Yu shaking his head again, Jiraiya sighed. Okay, I'll show you an example, but once you use it, there is a 90% chance of failure, so don't take it to heart. Look at it, don't blink, immortal Meowmushin will come. Jiraiya rapped on the stage, put his right hand next to his mouth and bit, but his hands flew like wheels quickly. When the last magic seal fell, Jiraiya slapped the ground with his right hand. The art of psychic. The cobweb-like magic seal unfolded instantly, and the white mist shrouded it. A figure the size of Mishu appeared in front of everyone. This is a toad with armor on both hands. In the original work, when Jiraiya fought against Oni and Uchiha Itachi, the toads that were summoned were somewhat similar. Is this a psychic beast? Maoyu Xian's eyes lit up and said, I heard that as long as a contract is signed and a psychic beast is summoned on the battlefield, it means that the combat power will be doubled. Also, the psychic beast is a partner that will never betray. For these remarks, Long Yu also complained a little in his heart. If Wan Qi knew, she would definitely grin. Eat people, eat masters. Wan Snake never jokes. Brother, if you were sure. Uchiha Itachi couldn't help asking. Long Yu patted Itachi's head and said with a smile, do you want to see my joke too? I'll try as much as I can and maybe it will work. While talking, Long Yu communicated with the system in his body. Ding dang, find out that the host has acquired the psychic technique, is it instantly full level? Full level now. Long Yu gave the order. Ding dong, congratulations to the host, the psychic technique is full. A message about psychic techniques poured into his mind, giving Long Yu a feeling of enlightenment. Long Yu, if you don't have confidence, you can go back and get in touch first, and you don't have to be in a hurry. Zilai also patted Long Yu's shoulder and said with a smile, you don't need to be discouraged, no one is like me. Genius, the first call was successful. This is the first time to psychically. You have successfully reversed and summoned yourself to Miaomu Mountain. Chapter 53, Don't dare to make a mistake. I'm not like you. Jirai couldn't help but startled, this was his secret. In addition to knowing a little about the 3 generations of Hokage, he also bragged to Tsunade. Do not. Also showed off in front of Orochimaru. It seems to be written in the intimacy paradise. The more I thought about it, I realized that it didn't seem like a secret at all, so I just ignored it. Boy, your tone is really not small. I hope you can wait a while and laugh when you see a tadpole that doesn't even have legs. Mao Yuxian on the side also waved a small pink fist at Long Yu, obviously cheering. As for Uchiha Itachi, he remained silent with a cool look on his face, but his gaze towards Long Yu was also a little more urgent. Wu tilde. Long Yu took a deep breath. The blood on the index finger of the right hand was not dry yet, and when he wiped it in the palm of his hands flew up like wheels. Seeing this scene, Jiraiya's expression couldn't help changing. Originally, he thought that the first time Long Yu made a seal, even if he really learned it, it would be very jerky. However, the agility of the knot in front of them completely subverted their cognition. The art of psychic. When the last spell was finished, Long Yu slapped the ground with his backhand. Feeling that 80% of the chakra was extracted from the body like a frenzy, his expression couldn't help changing. Boom! A powerful sound suddenly sounded, and under the white mist lingering in the sky, 3 huge mountain-like figures condensed out of thin air. The air waves brought about by the summons rolled back even further, making Yazuki Yuyan and Uchiha Itachi feel like they couldn't open their eyes. However, compared to them, Jiraiya almost split his eye sockets. Seeing Toad Wentai, Toad Jian and Toad Guang, who were once channeled and known as the 3 great powers of Miaomu Mountain, Jiraiya's face was full of disbelief. Jiraiya, what happened? You won't go to participate in the 3rd Ninja War, meet some difficult guy, and channel the 3 of us out at one time? Rod, breathing heavily, said, it's going to cost a lot. At least find thousands of pounds of worms, or don't even think about sending us off. Toad Jian and Toad Guang couldn't help but look around. However, in their perception, there is no danger at all. There were only 2 people who were stunned, and Jiraiya who was stunned. Jiraiya, you should talk too, there is no danger at all, just call us out, but you can't just dismiss us. Toad Guang couldn't help but speak. As Toad Hero's voice fell, Toad Bunta and Toad Ken also looked at Jiraiya. That staring expression, if there is no reasonable answer, I am afraid it will violently backlash. Zilai also woke up in a trance, glanced left and right, and said with a wry smile, can I say, isn't it me who called you? Isn't it you? Toad Wentai raised his brows, exhaled a puff of smoke, and said, is it that guy from Minato? Why didn't I see him? In contemporary times, there may be other people who have signed contracts with toads. But there are very few people who can really support the huge consumption of chakra and are qualified to summon their 3 big toads. Apart from Jiraiya and Minato Namikaze, they really couldn't think of anyone else. It's him. Zilai also looked at Long Yu and said with a wry smile, boy, you can do it yourself. The baptism of a giant is already very miserable, you are now summoning 3 at a time, you can do it yourself. Quote. Leaving this sentence, Zilai also directly started the mode of running away, and quickly opened a safe distance. Azuki Shion and Uchiha Itachi also turned ashen. However, in the face of these 3 toads that looked like hills, he still gritted his teeth and wanted to walk to Long Yu's side. Go back and leave it to me. Long Yu looked up at Toad Wentai and said, it's the first time we met, and I'm very happy to be able to reach a psychic contract with you. HMPH, it turned out to be a mere brat. I thought it was someone who dared to summon us all at once. Toad Wentai snorted coldly. However, don't think, you called us out and sent us back with a pat on the butt. Toad Guang and Toad Jian were obviously following the lead of Toad Wen. Although they did not speak, their meaning was obvious. Is there any solution? Long Yu smiled even more. Of course he knew that the more powerful the psychic beast, the more character it was. Before being tamed, they are all thorns. HMPH, of course, as long as you defeat the three of us, it's fine this time, otherwise you'll have to help us catch bugs for a month. Toad Wentai's eyes narrowed slightly. At the thought of those delicious bugs, someone took the initiative to put them into their mouths. This life is the best. I like this solution too. Long Yu smiled warmly. Toad Wentai was stunned at first, and then met Long Yu's scarlet blood-like eyes. Jugo Jade Writing Wheel Eye. As soon as the blood moon-like pupils opened, Long Yu's whole aura underwent earth-shaking changes, and the huge pupil power rolled back like a frenzy. Toad Wentai's faces changed drastically. It's the calamity eyes mentioned by the great immortal. I didn't expect to meet them here. Toad Wentai's face changed. Be careful, this pupil technique is not easy. Toad Wen was too violent, and the moment he grabbed the short knife around his waist with his backhand, he saw Long Yu move. Do not. It should be said that seeing Long Yu's eyes widened. Monthly reading. Performing moon reading on the three big toads at one time is also very expensive for Long Yu. Maybe only for a brief moment. But in this situation of a strong duel, everything is enough. Jiraiya waited for others, only to see a slight pause in the movements in the hands of Toad Wentai Sanj. The next moment, Long Yu's body was covered with lightning, and the ground instantly cracked. The whole person turned into a streamer that traversed the world and landed on Toad Wentai's head in the blink of an eye. When the three toads woke up, Long Yu's figure was no longer there. Looking for me, Wentai, I'm on your head. Long Yu smiled and patted Toad Wentai's head. The sudden scene made Toad Wentai's face stiff. However, usually in such a situation, he would definitely run wild. Only, this time it didn't dare to make a mistake. Whether it was Toad Wentai or Toad Jian, even Toad Guang didn't make another move. They knew very well that at the moment when they fell into illusion just now. Chapter 54. The Limits of Shaking Wheel Eyes. Since the other party can mount them on their heads, this proves that they have the ability to kill them with one blow. In this case, the outcome is already decided. Boy, I didn't expect your tactics to be very good, the old man is convinced. Toad Wentai withdrew his right hand from the knife, grabbed the smoking gun and took a deep breath. Forget it this time. The next time you call us, I hope it's an urgent matter. We don't want to get together every time we come out. Jian, Guang, we're going back. Abandoning these words, Toad Wentai 3 directly turned into a white mist and disappeared out of thin air. So easy to solve it. Zilai also froze in place. When I thought about it, when I entered Miaomu Mountain for the first time, I was bullied by a toad. Especially the worm meal, in order to maintain the freshness, it will squirm in the bowl. This situation, people think about it, the stomach is a little restless. Long Yu fell in the air, watching Uchiha Itachi and Azuki Shion hurriedly greet him, and said, "Don't worry, I'm fine." "Brother, did you just write a wheel eye?" Uchiha Itachi couldn't help but ask. In the eyes of others, the reason Uchiha Itachi is called a genius is that he opened the single-hook jade writing wheel eye before he was 7 years old. It has always been an honor. However, when he saw the three psychic beasts facing him, Long Yu just squinted his eyes a little and pulled them directly into the illusion. This kind of method turned his so-called single-hook jade writing wheel into slag in seconds. This is a kaleidoscope wheel shaker, and it's the limit of the wheel shaker. You will also have it in the future. Long Yu rubbed the head of God Itachi. It can be said that the Amaterasu, Yuyu, and Susanoo he has now are all pupil techniques transformed by the system with Long Yu's thinking when he is at full level. It can be regarded as stealing Uchiha Itachi's pupil technique. Really, Uchiha Itachi rarely showed a little innocence at his age. Long Yu patted his head and said, "Of course it is. It's getting late, you guys go back first, I have something to talk about with Zilai." After Azuki Shion and Uchiha Itachi glanced at Long Yu hesitantly, they finally turned around and left. For a time, only Long Yu and Jiraiya remained in the huge open space. "Boy, the trick just now is really good. I didn't even think that your pupil technique would be so powerful that Meow Mushin's 3 toads were directly affected by the illusion. If I hadn't seen it with my own eyes, I wouldn't believe it." Jiraiya not the slightest bit of vigilance. Instead, he relaxed a bit. In his eyes, Long Yu was able to show his strength without hesitation in front of him. "That's enough. Hehe, it's all a little trick. Compared with your immortal mode, it's still far behind." Long Yu laughed dryly, took out 2 bottles of wine from his backpack, and threw a bottle to Jiraiya. "Drinking wine makes it easier to talk. This is wine table etiquette." Jiraiya caught the sake, looked hesitant, and took the lead in sitting down with his knees crossed. "Boy, I didn't expect that you know so much." Looking at Long Yu, and taking out a lot of jerky snacks, Jiraiya was also not polite. He raised his head and took a sip of sake, and said, "You didn't play the idea of psychic art from the beginning, is it the fairy mode?" Immortal mode, as one of the most powerful fighting methods after the collapse of Naruto's combat power in the later stage. Even Orochimaru has always been salivating. Long Yu once thought that Orochimaru had also searched for the location of Longdi Cave. "I also wanted to get the immortal mode, but unfortunately I couldn't get it." As for why Orochimaru knew about the existence of the immortal mode, I am afraid that there was a battle with Jiraiya. Was beaten by the fairy mode. It's as if Orochimaru wanted to get Itachi's writing wheel eye, but was killed by illusion. Instead, he attacked Sasuke Uchiha. Almost. Long Yu didn't hide it, and sat aside with a smile. "This is the world of the strong. Whoever has the bigger fist can speak up." "Are you right?" Zilai couldn't help but startled and said, "Didn't you say that you want to be a salted fish? It seems a bit against your wishes." According to Long Yu's explanation, salted fish just lie in the sun. After drying the front, the back is right. Hehe, in this world of power struggle, if you don't have absolute strength, it's difficult to even experiment with the desire to be a salted fish. Long Yu also took a sip of sake. "Don't worry, I will definitely get this immortal mode, but I don't like to use violence, so let's go. However, I advise you to stop staring at Orochimaru when you have time, and remember to visit Urin village. That place will change the pattern of the entire ninja world." Long Yu thought of the 3 of Yahiko. According to the development in the original work, Danzo is about to take action against Akatsuki, who is led by Yahiko. Once Yahiko is killed, Nagato will run wild, and Akatsuki's nature and meaning will undergo earth-shaking changes. Zilai couldn't help but startled, looking at Long Yu with a hint of uncertainty. "Boy, you seem to know a lot of things. It seems that you have never been blind for more than 10 years. Zilai also spit out a turbid breath and said, "Minato and I mentioned that your talent for learning ninjutsu is beyond world. I just saw that you used the psychic technique for the first time, and you summoned the 3 toads, and I found out that I don't want to be an enemy of you. I hope you will not threaten Konoha in the future, otherwise I will feel very uncomfortable. Trouble. Rainbow Village, I will go for a visit. I have often heard about the deeds of those 3 little guys, and I don't know what's going on now." Jiraiya also patted the dust on his body, and while talking, he turned and left. Watching the back figure leave, Long Yu instead focused his gaze on the woods on the left. When the 3 toads were summoned just now, Long Yu found out that someone was coming and was still monitoring. Although the distance was 600 or 700 meters, he still couldn't escape Long Yu's perception. As for who he is, he can even figure it out with his toes. "I really don't know what Danzo will do next. In this boring life, I really need some guys who are not afraid of death to adjust it, otherwise it will be too boring." Long Yu smiled and stretched his waist. "There was no hurry to leave, and I drank lightly and drank alone. On the other hand, the roots. Danzo stood on the roof, squinting slightly in the wind, and behind him stood a slender, pale man. That pursed smile was even more inexplicable. Sir Danzo, emergency. Shinichi, the ninja at the root, appeared beside Danzo and couldn't help but look at the pale man. After recognizing his identity, his face changed drastically. Don't be surprised, next, he is our ally, let's talk about anything. Danzo said lightly, leaning on his cane. Chapter 55, Kakashi. This time, he didn't expect that the person he was looking for happened to sneak into Konoha Ninja Village. It also saves a lot of effort. Yes, the ninja at the root responded and said, according to the intelligence report, after Uchiha Ryu and Jiraiya left the village together, they channeled 3 big toads at the same time. As for who is psychic, we just arrived and didn't have time to see clearly. Haha, besides Jiraiya, I don't believe there are other people who can summon 3 toads at the same time. A feminine voice suddenly sounded. The scarlet tongue was swallowed, and it was as slender as a snake, which was shocking. I didn't expect that after I left Konoha, Jiraiya's strength increased a lot. In front of him, this terrifying snake-like man, the ninja at the root, couldn't help but take a step back and opened a safe distance that he thought was sufficient. Facing Orochimaru, who is also one of the 3 ninjas, who was expelled from the village because of his quirks and human experiments. That is a more terrifying existence than the rest of the Sannin. However, the ninja at the root was in awe, but he still said bravely, no, we finally speculate that these 3 toads were summoned by Uchiha Longyu. There was also a gambling war between them. It's just that this gambling battle was solved with a glance than Uchiha Ryu. Speaking of which, the ninja at the root showed a hint of surprise on his face. Danzo and Orochimaru's expressions also changed. Being able to summon the 3 major psychic beasts at the same time, in their eyes, only Jiraiya can do it. However, now that they are told that the person who did this kind of thing is actually Uchiha Ryu, the gap is a bit too big. With the narration of the root ninja, Danzo and Orochimaru's faces became more solemn. However, the pupils are more fiery and urgent. You mean, Uchiha Ryu pulled the 3 toads into the illusion with one look? Orochimaru continued to reiterate. Seeing the root ninja nodding affirmatively, there was a hint of fiery on his face. In the legend, the kaleidoscope that only Uchiha Madara possessed actually appeared on a 14 or 15-year-old kid. No wonder he was so arrogant. Orochimaru smiled grimly. Danzo, I didn't expect you to contact me this time. It turned out to be such a great thing. Quote. If you can take this skin bag as your own, how good it will be. Under Orochimaru's undead reincarnation technique, a good body is a fatal temptation for him. Moreover, only Madara Uchiha, who is known to be comparable to the original Hokage, has a kaleidoscope writing wheel. For Orochimaru, who loves human trials, this is the best experiment. HMPH, Orochimaru, have you forgotten the premise of our cooperation? Tuanzang snorted coldly. When Orochimaru defected, he helped. At the same time, in private, there have been collusion with each other. Including his right arm and right eye. Although, he is now a kaleidoscope that has not gotten the water stop. But during this time, he also secretly collected a lot of writing wheel eyes. What Danzo has to do is to capture the Mudden cells, known as the strongest first-generation Hokage in the ninja world, and Uchiha Madara's writing wheel eyes. Only by obtaining these 2 most powerful foundations, Danzo believes that one day, he will definitely be able to defeat Sarutobi Hiru. The morning sun, like broken gold, enveloped the entire Konoha village. In front of the sealed gate, Longyu yawned and stretched. For the Battle of Shinwukun Bridge, it can be said that it determines the direction of the entire Naruto plot. Whether it is to agree to Jiraiya, or to solve his own chakra shortage, he needs to find the whereabouts of the 3 tails. In addition to making up for the lack of blue, Longyu had to take a trip in person. Hello. A beautiful female voice suddenly sounded. Long Yu followed the voice and saw Lin. 14 or 15-year-old Lin, in Konoha, is also a unique beauty. Moreover, he has a gentle and kind personality, and is the object of the secret love of the big boss Obito in the future. Are you here for the mission? Lin couldn't help asking. In her quest scroll, this time it's just her, Kakashi, and Obito going to Kanekun Bridge. They should be led by their teacher, Konoha Golden Flash Namikaze Minato. Now, suddenly a person appeared at the meeting point, so Lin couldn't help but ask. It should be counted as a temporary recruit, join the team. Long Yu said with a light smile. Latina. Lin couldn't help but froze for a moment, then said with a smile, you don't have to worry, we will be safe with Minato-sensei and Kakashi here. I'll tell you a secret, today Kakashi has become a Jonin, which is a symbol of strength. As Lin spoke, she didn't forget to look at Long Yu's body. It turns out that you, like me, are also Chunin. Is this your first mission? No wonder you came so early, you are too nervous, don't worry, I am a medical ninja. If something happens, I will treat you well. Looking at Lin with an enthusiastic face, Long Yu couldn't help rolling his eyes. This horse is silly and sweet. No wonder so many people like it. As soon as they met, they were familiar with each other, and they opened their mouths and shut their mouths and cursed the injury. If they were in a bad mood, they would have slapped them directly. By the way, when did you graduate? Kakashi is amazing. Lin continued to look after herself. Long Yu reluctantly looked into the grass next to him and said, Kakashi, come out when you come. At 1 o'clock in the evening, my ears are all calluses. Kakashi. Lin couldn't help being stunned for a moment, and soon saw a black shadow flashing from the bushes next to it, attacking directly towards Long Yu. The speed is so fast that it is only a few dozen meters short, but it will arrive in the blink of an eye. Before Lin could react, the chakra knife in Kakashi's hand was instantly unsheathed. It turned into a white light and attacked Long Yu head-on. Kakashi, don't! Lin exclaimed. However, the next moment, his expression could not help but stagnate. The crackling thunder arc flashed across Long Yu, and then disappeared out of thin air. The chakra dagger in Kakashi's hand fell instantly. As soon as he stood firm, there was a hint of danger behind him. A cold blade rested directly on his neck. Don't move, my knife is very sharp. Long Yu smiled warmly. However, this smile fell on Lin and Kakashi's eyes, but it made the pupils shrink suddenly. This is too fast. Long Yu, can't you be merciful? I'm just a step late, so you'll be rude to my students. Namikaze Minato, like a ghost, performed the Flying Thunder God technique and appeared beside Long Yu. Chapter 56, Elite Junin. Looking at Namikaze Minato, he and Long Yu looked like they were equals. The puzzlement on Kakashi and Lin's faces became even worse. Minato, you're too embarrassed to be late. If you came earlier, I wouldn't be misunderstood and I wouldn't be too lazy to do it. Long Yu took back the thunder knife and stored it in the scroll. Looking at Kakashi and Lin, who were confused, they touched the tip of their noses and said, Minato, I think you should explain it first. For Kakashi's hostility, Long Yu did not take it to heart. It's normal to have a little twist in your heart when your father is dead. Moreover, in this almost invincible boring life, it is also very good to have a little bit who is not afraid of fear these days to adjust his life. As soon as these words fell, Kakashi and Rin couldn't help but look at Minato Namikaze. Yes, sorry, I'm not late. A hurried scream came from a distance. Immediately afterwards, Uchiha Obito, who was wearing a blindfold, quickly jumped in front of Kakashi. You are already late, Kakashi said coldly. However, now we are in the mood to pay attention to you. Teacher Minato, the completion rate of the task is about the rules. When we took the task, we clearly marked the group of 4. Why is there another person of unknown origin now? Looking at Kakashi, who had only one route in his brain circuit, even Namaifung Minato dared to fight, Long Yu couldn't help laughing. The fact that he repelled Yun Ninja and Mist Ninja was only known to the senior executives of Konoha and the Uchiha clan. For Kakashi and others, this is still a secret. Are you Uchiha Ryu? Obito, as the Uchiha clan, is still the tail of the crane in the clan. I still know a little bit about the brothers of the same clan who have opened Sharingan. Weren't you sent to guard the Northwest Pass? Why are you here? Long Yu collected the remaining memories in his mind and found that this Long Yu and Obito were a little friendly. So it's not surprising to know that he took the mission. However, now suddenly, such a big change has taken place, it is really difficult for Long Yu to explain to Obito. Cough, Obito can't be rude. Minato Nakamo coughed dryly. He also didn't know how to explain it, and he couldn't tell them that the Uchiha Long Yu in front of him was a salted fish genius who had been lurking for more than 10 years. Not only did he come back from the Northwest Pass, but he also used the kaleidoscope to write the wheel eye, and it was air in seconds. Minato-sensei, did I say something wrong? Obito couldn't help rubbing his eyes and said, just now I just saw an old woman going to cross the road, so I did something good, so I wasted time. And then sand got into the eyes. Looking at Obito who was wearing goggles and opened his mouth to enter the sand, Long Yu couldn't help but rolled his eyes. This is an excuse, and it should be a bit more neat. Okay, the time is just right now. It's rare that Kakashi didn't raise a bar with you this time. We should also go. There is something to talk about on the way. Minato Namaifung looked at Long Yu, and paused. There are 3 things to announce today. Quote. The first thing is, welcome the elite Jonin Ryu to join our team. Elite Junin. Kakashi and the others froze for a while, especially Lin, who couldn't help but say, Matsumoto-sensei, isn't the mark on his body a Chunin forehead guard? Why is it an elite Chunin? In the ninja rank, it is divided into lower ninja, Chunin, special upper ninja, and elite upper ninja. Among them, the special Junin refers to those who have strength beyond the Chunin, but cannot reach the Junin, but have special personal strengths, comprehensive strength, and can barely reach the test of the Junin, which is called the special Junin. For example, in the original work, Moonlight Gale, who knew the swordsmanship of Konoha Ryu Sansen and Moon Dance, was good at some kind of illusion, and perhaps in a certain field, he was a ninja who excelled. As for the elite Shangnin, it is the elite of the Shangnin. He was specially rated as an elite Junin by the 3 generations of Hokage-sama yesterday, and he has not yet issued an announcement, so he did not have time to replace the forehead protection. Minato Namaifung looked helpless. He's really not good at explaining. If the 3 generations of Hokage hadn't issued a sealing order, the matter of Long Yu must not be leaked casually. Namikaze Minato was really willing to say everything in one go. 3 generations of Hokage personally promoted. Uchiha Obito couldn't help himself. Long Yu, didn't you turn on the double-hook jade writing wheel, or like the patriarch, you turned on the 3-hook jade? Kakashi, take a look, this is the genius of our Uchiha family, much stronger than your Chunin. Looking at the stinky fart, he did not forget to use his own Uchiha Obito. Kakashi has also been promoted to Jonin today. The small voice made Uchiha Obito stunned. He has always regarded Kakashi as a competitor, and thought that after opening the shaker, he could leap over Kakashi. However, now he is told that the Sharingan has not been opened yet, and Kakashi has become a Jonin. However, this originally belonged to Tianda's good news, but in the face of the title of Long Yu Elite Junin, it seems a bit inferior. Obito, you won't forget it. Lin hurriedly said something to ease the atmosphere. We're just talking to prepare gifts for Kakashi. This is my gift. Although it's a little ugly, it's very useful at critical moments. Minato Namikaze took the lead to take out the Flying Thunder God Kunai. Lin on the side quickly took out her special medical kit and said, Kakashi, I made this myself, I hope you can use it. Listening to these alternative blessings, Long Yu really wanted to pinch Lin's nose. However, before Long Yu had an attack, Minato Namikaze was already blinking at him. Long Yu, as a senior, should you express it? Kakashi couldn't help but be startled, and after taking Fei Lei Shen Kunwu and the medical kit, he said, Mazuman-sensei, I don't need his things. Looking at Kakashi, who was a little stubborn, Minato couldn't help but have a headache. Kakashi, this is a rare opportunity. If I hadn't had a little friendship with Long Yu, I'm afraid no one would be able to dig something out of him. Benefits. Kakashi frowned and said, Mazuman-sensei, will his things be better than Fei Lei Shen Kunwu? If there is, I'm just opening my eyes, and I won't. In Kakashi's eyes, Long Yu is about the same age as him. In the most festive days, it was not only subdued by Long Yu with one move. He was also overwhelmed by his elite endurance. It's harder than reaching the sky to make him happy now. Chapter 57. The Order of the Three Hokage. Okay, since you've made up your mind, I beg Long Yu, let him open your eyes to you. Minato Namikaze looked at Long Yu helplessly. Watergate, can't you be more mature? Long Yu was helpless. However, in the backhand, a seal scroll fell into his hand. Boom! Under the white fog, the hideous shark muscle and thunder knife fell into Long Yu's hands. Hee, the first shot is the shark muscles and thunder knives of the 7 ninja swordsmen. Long Yu, you are really generous. Minato Namikaze couldn't help but light up. Why didn't you remember the villain's mistakes? Give it to Kakashi. Make up a gift. No way. Long Yu backhanded the shark muscle and thunder knife into the scroll again. I keep it as a collection. Seeing the duck flying away from his mouth, Minato Namikaze was helpless, and there was a hint of regret on his face. However, compared to him, Kakashi and the others couldn't hold their breath. The prestige of the 7 ninja swordsmen is also a well-known existence in the ninja world. The 7 ninja knives are their lifeblood, and it has always been rumored that people are in the knife. However, now one of the 7 knives, the shark muscle and the thunder knives, have fallen into Long Yu's hands, which means that 2 of the 7 ninja knives have fallen. Moreover, it still fell into the hands of the young man in front of him. Kakashi-sensei. Uchiha Obito was the first to lose his breath. Before he could finish his sentence, he saw Minato with a wry smile and nodded. Kakashi, this time, you're out of luck, and I plan to give you food. However, your guess is correct. One of the reasons why Long Yu can become an elite Jonin is because he killed 2 of the 7 members of the Mist Ninja. Having said that, Minato Namikaze looked at Long Yu and said, this time, due to the emergency at Shinwukun Bridge, we will be divided into 2 teams to carry out the mission. I am alone, and the 3 of you are led by Long Yu. What? Uchiha Obito and the others were stunned. Kakashi couldn't hold his breath and said, Mr. Minato, the key to forming a team is cooperation. Long Yu's strength may be very good, but forcing a team with us is probably a bit inappropriate. Looking at Kakashi, who has always been responding to Uchiha Obito, and saying these words, Minato Nakaze knew that Kakashi didn't want to stay with Ryu at all. Helplessly sighed and said, Kakashi, this is the order of the 3rd Hokage, and it is an emergency dispatch during wartime. Order. Kakashi was stunned for a moment, and then said blankly, since it is the order of the 3rd Hokage, I will definitely obey it, but I want to remind that no matter who it is, it must not break the rules, otherwise it will be spurned. Looking at Kakashi's face with a dead father, Long Yu rolled his eyes helplessly and said, don't worry, I have never followed the rules, and the orders of the 3 generations of Hokage are no exception. I don't want this, Captain. For the next action, you will be in groups of 3, led by Kakashi, and I will act alone. Are you alone? Uchiha Obito was stunned, and said anxiously, Long Yu, this is the order of the 3rd Hokage. If you disturb the rules without authorization, I am afraid that you will be spurned by people when you return to the village. Spit. Long Yu smiled lightly and waved his hand. So what, why let me see their faces as human beings? Don't talk about spit, even if the sky falls, I will not pay attention to lousy. Watergate, it's getting late, let's go, I'm having a headache in front of these little brats. It's really good for you to be the boss, or let's change it. You lead the team yourself, and I'll kill you. Looking at Long Yu with a completely unconcerned face, Kakashi and the others were stunned, unable to answer. Namikaze Minato was also helpless. Looking around all the Konoha ninjas, I am afraid that only Long Yu dared to say such a thing. After all, not long ago, another legend in Konoha, Hatake Tsukumo, died because he violated the rules and was accused of being unhappy. Master Orochimaru, they have already set off. Shan Zongfang flashed out in the dark. Really, it's really exciting. Orochimaru, who had changed his skin, swaggered out of Konoha village. After lightly licking the dry lips with the scarlet tongue, he said, I thought it would take a lot of effort to get Minato Naikamo away, but now it seems that God has helped me. You follow him all the time, and I will follow soon. The kaleidoscope is destined to belong to me. Abandoning these words, Orochimaru disappeared out of thin air. Shan Zongfang and the belated oil girl Tugan looked at each other and said, let's take action too. Don't forget to leak the information to Yanin. If you can kill Long Yu with Yanin's hand, then would be the best. Lord Danzo said that Orochimaru is a double-edged sword. If it is not used properly, it will probably hurt us. The oily girl took root nodded and said, everything is for the root, let's go. After a long time, Long Yu and his party finally reached the periphery of the target. Okay, let's rest here now, and at the same time explain the current situation. Minato Namaifeng took out a topographic map. This time, our opponent is Iwanan. There is a grass ninja village between us and Iwa ninja village. Originally, the existence of Grass Ninja Village, for us Konoha, is a buffer with Iwa Ninja Village. Once Iwa Ninja Village is attacked, Grass Ninja Village will also rise. To the role of resistance, give us Konoha time to provide defense. However, this time, when we found out, the large force of thousands of people in Iwa Ninja Village had already crossed the line of defense of Kusanagi Village, and it was only 3 kilometers away from our line of defense in Konoha. What? The faces of Kakashi and the others couldn't help but change. The biggest reason that the Grass Ninja Village can survive in the gap between the great powers is the tacit consent of the two great powers. After all, if the borders of the two countries meet, I am afraid that there will be no sense of security at night. In order to ease the relationship between Iwa Ninja Village and Konoha, Kusanagi Village became a necessary existence. However, now Iwa Shinobi has unknowingly passed through the defense line of Kusanagi Village, and there are only 2 results. First, Kusanagi didn't even resist, and was instantly destroyed by Yanin. Second, Kusanagi turned against Yanin and voluntarily gave up resistance. These 2 choices are undoubtedly the second in Long Yu's eyes. After all, for a small country to act as a buffer, the most basic thing is to have a balanced combat power. Now Konoha Ninja Village, 3 battlefields are opened at the same time, and the back is also met by the eye of Yun Ninja Village. As long as you are not a fool, in this situation, you will think that Konoha Shinobi Village will definitely lose. Compared with the thousands of troops in Iwanan Village, the dozens of people in Konoha are undoubtedly very shabby. Opening the door wide for future victors is the way to survive for a small country. I think you all understand the current situation. Since Long Yu doesn't want to be the captain, then leave it to Kakashi. Minato Namikaze glanced at Long Yu and said helplessly. Chapter 58. Air not. Teacher's only hope is to see you standing in front of me after this war is over. If nothing else matters, let's go. Kakashi and Uchiha Obito are the first to enter this level of battlefield. But right now, it's just the guts to set off. The 4 people flickered and plunged into the woods. Long Yu stretched his waist, glanced at Guan Lin in the back, and smiled playfully. This time, I really hope to catch a big fish, and I'm almost suffocated to keep running out of small shrimp feathers. Abandoning these words, Long Yu didn't stop there, and followed. Kakashi rushed out a few hundred meters, and when he saw Long Feng who was late, he couldn't help frowning. Follow the team, now I'm the captain. Looking at Kakashi with a look on his face, Long Yu rolled his eyes and said, I gave you your captain, don't forget, I am someone who doesn't care about the rules. You. Kakashi gasped. Namikaze Minato watched this scene and couldn't help but have a headache. He really regretted letting Long Yu and Kakashi team up. Even he couldn't get Long Yu to cooperate well, let alone Kakashi. Stop. Kakashi stopped abruptly, and at the same time gestured. Namikaze Minato nodded in satisfaction and looked at the big tree in the distance. In his perception, there is an enemy hidden here. Kakashi, let's discuss tactics first, there are a lot of opponents. Minato Namikaze suggested. Kakashi glanced at Long Yu and said, Teacher doesn't need it. We are in a hurry now. If we discuss it again, I am afraid that the enemy will escape. I just developed a new technique with the same name as the teacher. As soon as the voice fell, Kakashi quickly flipped his hands up in a stinky way. With the fall of the last spell, the crackling arc condensed in an instant. Chidori. Able to develop A-level ninjutsu in his teens, he is definitely a leader among his peers. Feeling this huge and raging power, Obito and Lin's expressions changed. Kakashi, the number of enemies is unknown, this ninjutsu is very strong, but you will endure a lot of unknown changes. Minato Namaifung reminded in a deep voice. Long Yu, you can also help persuade me. Shuaman, you really like to splash dirty water on me. I can honestly tell you that this 1,000 birds are very fast, but your experience and nerve reaction speed cannot be balanced at all. If you go out now, you will only end up dead. Hearing this merciless blow, Minato burst into a wry smile, regretting letting Long Yu interrupt. HMPH, this is the ninjutsu I developed, and I know it best. Kakashi snorted coldly and said, what are the drawbacks? You don't need to make any random evaluations. Teacher Minato, you cover me, and I can kill them all in a split second. Looking at Kakashi who had made up his mind, Minato Namikaze nodded helplessly. Boom. Kakashi's right hand slammed into the ground, and the violent arc shattered the ground. The next moment, the whole person shot out like a cannonball. With Lei done activating the cells, the speed of his raid was obviously getting faster and faster. Long Yu, look at it, this is my strength. The voice was mixed with thunder. Looking at Kakashi who was so swaggering and rushed out, even Iwa Shinobu, who was hiding behind a big tree, was taken aback. You bastard, look down on me like this, and dare to attack from the front. Yanren's face was hideous, and he hurriedly threw out a large shuriken in his backhand. However, these shuriken, as soon as they approached Kakashi, were knocked off by Minato Namikaze with the shuriken. 1, 10, 15, your attacks have revealed whereabouts. Kakashi quickly passed by. 15 shadow clones were instantly torn apart. His eyes suddenly turned and locked behind the tree. The thunder-like scene shocked Rin and Uchiha with a dirty face. This is completely beyond their cognition. Someone's here, Long Yu said suddenly, straining all his nerves. Uchiha Obito's face changed suddenly, and soon he saw a figure emerging from the ground. 4. Yanren's expression was stagnant, and he still couldn't see the faces clearly. A kunai burst into the air. PFF'd. Yanin turned into white mist in response to the sound, and collapsed between heaven and earth. S expression suddenly changed, and he shouted in a hurry, Long Yu, they handed it over to you. When the voice fell, Minato Namikaze disappeared like a ghost. The next moment, he appeared again, and he was already in front of Kakashi. The dazzling sharp blade quickly enlarged in Kakashi's pupils. Under this extreme speed shock, he could not dodge at all. PFF'd. As soon as Minato Namikaze appeared, he instantly pressed against Kakashi's chest, directly blocking his extreme speed. However, the dazzling sharp blade also scratched Kakashi's shoulder, and the blood splattered, which looked shocking. The next moment, Minato Namikaze disappeared out of thin air with Kakashi like a ghost. Kakashi, are you alright? Lin's face turned pale, and just after walking half a step, she saw Long Yu stretched and stood up. It's my turn. The voice fell, and the crackling arc of thunder spread out, and Long Yu disappeared in place like a ghost. Disappeared. Iwanan missed a strike, and the memory of the clone flooded into his mind. The next moment his expression changed suddenly. In the back-feeding memory, he saw two chilling faces. Golden glitter and blood-colored Asura. However, compared with the golden flash, the blood-colored Asura, who has recently gained fame in the ninja world, is even more frightening. After being dormant for more than 10 years, he killed nearly 200 ninjas in 2 battles. This kind of record, looking at the Third Ninja World War, can definitely be called brilliant. Escape. A thought flashed in Yan Ren's mind, and the moment he turned around quickly, his pupils shrunk directly to the face he was looking at. Chidori. Long Yu's right hand was entwined with lightning, without any fancy, and cut it directly to Yan Ninja's neck. PFF'd. The huge head was thrown straight away, and together with the tree with a diameter of half a meter, it was also cut off by the middle of the thunder. Under the collapsed tree, Long Yu's figure was clearly visible. He grabbed the head that had fallen in midair, and disappeared out of thin air again. Disappeared again. This lightning flash is too fast, not much different from Minato-sensei. Uchiha Obito couldn't hold back his breath. Are you looking for him? Long Yu's voice suddenly sounded. The head with round eyes was thrown out by Long Yu, and the blood splashed down, staining the grass red. Chapter 59, Chidori. At the same time, there was an inexplicable stench in the air. Looking at the horror on this Iwanan's face, at the moment of death, I am afraid to see extremely terrifying things. Did you use Chidori just now? Kakashi said suddenly. Uchiha Obito and Rin couldn't help but startled. Only Namikaze Minato smiled wryly from the side. In the eyes of outsiders, the Chidori developed by Kakashi seems to be able to reach A level in difficulty. However, Long Yu can even learn S-rank ninjutsu in an instant. Moreover, from Jiraiya's mouth, it was learned that Long Yu summoned the 3 great powers of Miaomu Mountain for the first time by using his psychic technique. It can be said that the mere Chidori is really not difficult for Long Yu. Good eyesight. Long Yu smiled warmly. At the same time, a crackling sound came from the right hand, and the violent lightning flashed away quickly. The thunder light raged, giving people a feeling of tearing everything in front of them to shreds. Chidori. Looking at the scene in front of him, even Uchiha Obito at the back of the crane knew that this was Kakashi, who was so stinky just now that he talked about it. Known as the newly developed A-level ninjutsu. The next moment, the arc wrapped around the hand stagnates for a while, and then spreads rapidly towards the whole body. For a time, Long Yu felt like being bathed in thunder. This is Chidori Ryu. It's 1,000 shotguns. This is the 1,000 birds sword technique. Looking at Long Yu's demonstration, Minato's cheeks stiffened and twitched without rhythm. Enough. Kakashi finally lost his breath. A moment ago, he was arrogant and boasted about this 1,000 birds. He also talked about the speed and the teacher's name. Now, watch Chidori Ryu changing in dragon feather style. This invisible slap slapped loudly. Kakashi, don't worry about it, Long Yu is just kind. Minato Namikaze said with a wry smile. Long Yu patted Minato on the shoulder and said, sorry, I did it on purpose. As a ninja, I don't know what prudence is. That would put teammates to death. Now, do you still want to be the captain? The expressions of everyone present couldn't help but stagnate. Lin hurriedly said, Long Yu, Kakashi didn't have a heart, he would have succeeded. Rin is right, Kakashi missed this time, but you shouldn't deprive Kakashi of his position as captain. What's more, I made a mistake just now. Uchiha Obito hurriedly echoed. Looking at this rare scene, Long Yu and Namikaze Minato were also surprised. On weekdays, Kakashi and Uchiha Obito, but water and fire are incompatible. The minority obeys the majority. I have always been fair. If you plead for Kakashi's sake, then forget it this time. Long Yu said indifferently. In his eyes, the captain's position is completely useless, and it is dispensable. After all, he would not accept any orders. Nohara Rin and Uchiha Obito secretly breathed a sigh of relief. Kakashi, you are injured, can you give it to me for treatment? Lin looked at Kakashi's wound that almost hurt her bones and muscles, her face full of urgency. Kakashi reacted in a loss, his eyes crossed everyone, and locked on Long Yu. I don't want this captain anymore, but I will soon surpass you and master a more powerful Chidori. At that time, I hope you can give me the captain position. Listening to these words of determination, Long Yu reluctantly touched the tip of his nose. I was thinking about whether to tell him the truth. I still have a thunder unicorn that lasts for seconds and seconds. Looking at Kakashi with a determined face, Minato Namikaze felt helpless. I just hope that Long Yu will stop stimulating Kakashi's weak heart. Okay, Rin, you treat Kakashi now, and then we're going to part ways. Minato Namika said. Originally, I was quite worried about you guys, but with Long Yu there, I believe it won't be a big problem. Leaving those words, Minato Namikaze picked up his backpack and disappeared like a ghost. Call. Uchiha Obito breathed a sigh of relief, sat down beside Long Yu, and said nervously, Long Yu, I didn't expect you to hide so deeply. Sharingan, the mighty Lei Dun, no wonder he can become an elite Jonin, he is indeed stronger than some people. Having said that, Uchiha Obito couldn't help but look at Kakashi. His intention was obviously to use the dragon feathers to impersonate the tiger's might. I didn't know who it was just now, but I was stunned by the enemy's surprise attack. Who always kept saying to protect Lin? Kakashi was obviously angry and vented to Uchiha Obito. You. Uchiha became sullen and said anxiously, I just got sand in my eyes just now. It was Long Yu who stole my limelight. Looking at the two fighting with swords, Long Yu felt helpless. There is really no need for a reason for the children to talk. Lin, has Kakashi's wound stopped bleeding? Long Yu looked at Kakashi's wound. Lin is the medical ninja of this team. However, medical ninjutsu is obviously just the beginning. To learn medical ninjutsu, the premise is to have accurate chakra control ability. This threshold alone is 1 in 100. It's pretty good that Lin can reach this point. Kakashi's wound is a little deep, it will take some time. Lin wiped the hot sweat from her forehead. Kakashi frowned slightly and said, Lin, if you're tired, take a rest first, don't worry about this injury for the time being, I'm fine. While talking, Kakashi took the bandage. However, as soon as he moved, he saw Long Yu's hand on his shoulder. Let me do it, I'm already dragging the oil bottle. If I get hurt, I'll be distracted to take care of you. Long Yu turned the chakra with his right hand. The immortal palm technique was activated instantly. Feeling that the stinging pain on the shoulder quickly faded, and the wound healed quickly, not to mention Kakashi and Uchiha Obito, even Lin, who is a medical ninja, couldn't help but be stunned. Long Yu, are you also a medical ninja? Lin couldn't hold her breath anymore. As a medical ninja, she knows the difficulty well. Now Long Yu can heal the wound quickly, which at least needs to reach the level of an advanced medical ninja. Half of it. Seeing that the wound on Kakashi's shoulder healed, Long Yu scattered the chakra in his hand and said, Next, we are going to catch a big fish. 30 minutes later, Long Yu and his party entered the bamboo forest. Feeling the silence around him, Kakashi suddenly reached out and stopped everyone. Two done earth trick. One after another soil thorns stabbed out under the feet, and the dense posture can easily pierce people into a hornet's nest. Disperse. The corners of Long Yu's lips pursed slightly, all this is not much different from the original. Chapter 60 Scarlet Asura. This made Long Yu, as if he had the ability of an unpredictable prophet. The four of them moved instantly and quickly dispersed around. However, everyone's eyes fell on Nohara Rin, intentionally or unintentionally. Nohara Rin landed on the water, and her footsteps just stood firm. Immediately behind the water, a circle of ripples erupted. Who used camouflage invisibility? appeared like a ghost, and immediately caught Rin Nohara. Hee, the three are stunned, and they can't even protect a woman. Don't worry, we will greet her well. After Dashi left those words, he quickly pulled away and retreated. The firelight that cast the earth escape cover in the dark is no exception. For a time, the huge bamboo forest fell into a dead silence. There is really an ambush. Long Yu is right, that Yan Ren did not go back. The other party will definitely try to dispatch, and when he sees that we are too young, he can't help but do it. Nohara Rin flashed out in the dark. If you let them know that it was Long Yu's shadow avatar who was caught, I don't know how they would feel. Speaking of which, Kakashi looked at Long Yu with a little more silence. Kakashi considers himself a genius of Konoha, also has a good mind, asks the younger generation. 89 out of 10 people can see it through. However, facing the dragon feather in front of him, Kakashi had a feeling that he couldn't figure it out. Long Yu is as expected, so what should we do now, immediately? Are you going after it? Uchiha Obito was slightly excited. Just being able to see Kakashi deflated is enough. No, we will capture the thief first, and we will capture them all. Long Yu smiled playfully. Other hand, the firelight and the big stone, with the clone of the dragon feather, landed in the rock cave not far away. This girl is really quiet. It seems that she knows the three guys and can't save them from us. Dashi laughed playfully. Now, what we have to do is to cast illusion on her and scrape the information as soon as possible. As long as we find out the number and layout of Konoha, we will be the heroes of this battle. The firelight placed Long Yu's clone in front of the wall, and at the same time signaled Daishi to perform an illusion. With the double surgery seal quickly falling down, Dashi shouted in a cold voice. Illusion hypnosis. Of mental fluctuations permeated Dashi's body. Soon I saw the quiet Long Yu, and instantly became, his expression was sluggish. When Dashi and Huogong saw this, they couldn't help but stunned. The hypnosis was too smooth. Dashi, it seems that we are lucky. We should be able to dig out the information before the big troops arrive. There was a hint of excitement on Huogong's face. Talking, he walked towards Long Yu. He stretched out his right hand and gently lifted Long Yu's chin. The next moment, the eye-catching smile made his expression stiff. What's the matter, am I doing the same? A small sound swept away like a hurricane at this moment. Dashi and Huogong's faces changed dramatically in an instant. Who are you? Facing the girl in front of them. No, it should be said that this male voice came out, which made them instantly understand that this was a game. Hee, if you go out and take a look, you, no. Long Yu smiled jokingly. The next moment, the body slammed, turned into a white mist that filled the sky, and dissipated between heaven and earth. The violent scene made Dashi and Huogong nervous to the extreme. There was no time to think about it, so he quickly pulled away and ran out. However, as soon as the two of them set foot on the entrance of the cave, they felt the blazing fire coming towards them. The art of fire escape how fireball. Thunder escape thousand birds. Uchiha Obito quickly flipped his hands, and the fiery chakra gathered in his mouth, and he swallowed it directly. The fireball with a diameter of 5 or 6 meters, in a rolling posture, slammed into the whole head, on. The art of earth escape and earth cracking. Huogong's face changed suddenly. However, as the upper ninjas in the Rock Ninja Village, their strength is also not to be underestimated. What's more, the rich experience in combat is not comparable to ordinary people. The hands flew over to form a series of magic seals, and then they slapped the ground with their backhands. Bang! The solid rock stratum ground cracked, and immediately the rock strata rose up, forming an earth wall, which directly collided with the fireball. Fireball was smashed, and the hot flames splashed down, forming a rain of fire. Seeing that the incoming attack was blocked, the firelight and the big stone instantly dispersed and fled. However, compared to Oishi, who has camouflage invisibility, Firelight's escape method is obviously a bit insufficient. Soon as he jumped out of the cave, he saw Lei Guang rapidly enlarge in his pupils. Head on in the stance of 1,000 birds. Little devil, you are courting death. Huogong's face changed drastically, and he roared in a hurry. In his sleeve slashed Kakashi head on. Of this attack is undoubtedly the intention to go all out. In Huogong's eyes, in the face of this life and death battle, the little ghost in front of him looked different. But compared with these experienced ninjas, this kind of life-threatening battle is simply incomparable in terms of psychological quality. However, as soon as this idea came to his mind, the next moment he saw two black shadows rushing towards him. Thunderbolt Chidori-style shuriken. Two shurikens were wrapped in violent thunder arcs, piercing the sky in an instant, and hitting the ninja swords in Huogong's hands first. Dang! The crisp metal collision sound suddenly sounded, and the huge impact force made the ninja knife in Huogong's hand bounce directly into the air. Looking at this violent scene, Kakashi's eyes lit up when the fire's expression changed dramatically. The short distance, and the extreme speed brought by Chidori's activated cells, made Kakashi instantly appear in front of the firelight. Chidori, without any bells and whistles, the right hand wrapped by thunderlight, like lightning, directly pierced the chest of Firelight. PFF'd. Blood splattered, giving people a shocking feeling. Under the blood flowers in the sky, there is a kind of horrified taste. Watching Chidori's first kill, a rare smile appeared on Kakashi's face. Yes, it's you. A firelight sounded suddenly. Looking at Long Yu, who was not far away to help, his expression became a little crazy. Dashi, run away quickly, go back and tell Lord Yellow Earth, the blood-colored Asuras are here, let them run away quickly. A hysterical roar echoed through the heavens and the earth. Who cast a secret technique and entered invisibility, originally planned to let the firelight attract everyone's attention. Then, wait for the opportunity to kill Long Yu and others. But, hearing this name now, he turned around and ran away without the slightest hesitation. Bloody Asura, that was the battle that came from Yunnin village, the next Raikage, and personally narrated it. Scarlet Asura, a collection of powerful attack ninjutsu, defensive ninjutsu, and illusion in one. Anyone below the movie level, as if encountering him, must escape.